Welcome back to Macrodosing. Whole squad's back in the studio. This is the only podcast that you can find on the internet, available in audio formats. It's also on YouTube. The only podcast that's on YouTube as well. You can get it on YouTube, I think, at the end of the day on Tuesdays is usually when it goes up. So make sure to toss us a like, subscribe, leave some comments, guess Big T's underwear in the comment section.
100K and Big T will do shrooms.
100K.
Oh yeah, he made a big announcement last episode. You missed it.
I did miss, so I was not able to listen to the show. Billy and I were out on the road on Grit Week, traveling around this beautiful country of ours. We did not get a chance to listen. So can you do like a 90-second recap of last week?
Yeah, so you gotta fight Donnie in a grudge match to see who keeps the glasses on.
Fair.
Big T is gonna do shrooms, probably a micro dose when we hit 100K. What am I missing?
Helen Keller's a hardcore blindo.
Helen Keller is a blindo. What about being deaf?
She's also a defo, but
Yeah.
I think I already knew that though.
Allegedly flew a plane.
Yeah, we call Cap. We call Cap. We call Cap on that one. Yeah.
Bullshit. Can you imagine a pilot being like, "Yeah, hey, why don't you take the sticks of this bird for a second?"
I could see what's the story? Isn't it that first lady who's flying the plane? No,
Yeah.
Amelia
it was Amelia Earhart.
Oh.
That's who it was.
I thought you were talking about Harrison Ford's wife.
Yeah. No. But Helen Keller also.
I could see her
Independent-
putting her on her lap and like
No.
you know how you like
She
little
was like a co-pilot for like 20 minutes and like flew the plane. Like,
grown
straight
woman.
up.
What do you mean put her on her lap?
No, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know when you like your parents let you drive the car and you just steer the wheel.
No,
and
dude.
Have
Like full blown flew the plane.
Like, I'm not like, imagine being a passenger on that plane and they make the announcement, or they didn't tell you afterwards. You figure out there was 20 minutes your life was in grave danger.
What type of plane are we talking about here?
I don't know.
gives a fuck?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Does it really, like a twin engine versus a four? Like, wait, was this prop or was this jet?
If it were like the tailspin plane that can land in water, maybe a little safer, but outside of that.
There's this one Russian pilot that let his daughter and his son fly the plane on like a commercial airliner because he had the autopilot on and everything. He was showing them how it works, and his son got behind and accidentally disengaged the autopilot, crashed the entire plane. I think like 180 people died. This was maybe 15, 20 years ago.
Jeez.
All-time fuck up, that guy.
I've heard stories about like people who go on hunting or fishing expeditions in Alaska, and the bush pilots are just like literal 11-year-old boys who are just flying these like single engine planes because like up there's just no rules.
Just further sinking into pessimism.
Yeah. All right. So it sounds like we missed a lot last week, actually. I will fight Donnie for sunglasses. Sure. I'll do that. And Big T will do microdose if we get to 100,000.
I said we'd figure something out, but yeah, probably.
Yeah, you
No,
said
100,000.
You said it had something to do with watching Avatar too.
Yeah, that's part of my stipulations that everyone on the show has to be here in person, and we have to watch Avatar with Arian.
Gonna take shrooms and watch Avatar.
Okay.
And we can't fuck with them.
Yeah, that's the most important part.
All right. Yeah. No, not gonna fuck. But I think maybe you guys talked about this a little bit last week with the effects of mushrooms. It's not like you're on acid. You're not gonna like hallucinate the entire world. It's not gonna creep you out. I think it's probably pretty tough to have a bad trip on mushrooms. Hand up, I had some mushrooms when I was at the beach a few weeks ago. Actually, I had several nights of mushrooms. I think 3 nights I took mushrooms, and there was no like hallucinatory experience. I don't know if that's a word, hallucinogenic experience. There was no like feeling detached from reality whatsoever. I happened to notice that I had a smile on my face for about 5 hours nonstop, and I was just happy. I was just very happy the whole time, and I was falling asleep in bed, and as I'd been laying in bed for like 30 minutes, and I opened my eyes, and I just had this big ass grin on. I was just really, really happy for an extended period of time. So if that's what all mushroom experiences are like, I'm 1,000,000% on board because it was great.
Did you get any body high?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. Felt like nice and warm. It honestly felt like great, outstanding weed with zero paranoia, with zero like fidgetiness, and I was able to think more clearly than if I was high on marijuana. So it felt great.
There's science behind that. There's actually science behind that. That's kind of what we alluded to too. Is like there's when you take it, the connectivity of neurons and heightened. So like you have more connections in your brain when you take these.
Yeah,
mushrooms.
And it's long lasting.
Yeah, I know.
Which is crazy.
I straight up I preferred it to marijuana. I like it a lot more than marijuana, but I don't want to do it all the time. It was like a let's do this for a special occasion type thing. But I will be back. I will be back, mushrooms.
I will be back, mushrooms.
Yeah.
They're listening.
How long is a trip on acid compared to a trip on mushrooms?
Good question. I've never taken acid.
I want to say like double on average.
They say acid anywhere from like 10 to 12 hours. Mushrooms like anywhere from 3 to 6.
Yeah.
So if you, I've never done any of this. So if you take acid, you're like in for a whole day, basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You got to clear your schedule.
Shit.
It also helps, I'm told, to make sure that you're in a great environment for it, where you're around people that you trust, kind of low key. Remove all of the variables, things that could make you anxious or nervous. And I don't know if that's the same for mushrooms, but I was in like the perfect environment for mushrooms,
1000%.
which was just like at the beach house, hanging out. I think we put Ted Lasso on for a little bit, so that's a great thing to have on while you're like the most positive television show of all time while I'm on mushrooms. I was ready to just like give the world a big fat French kiss after that was over. I was so happy. But yeah, so good. I'm glad that you guys got a chance to talk about mushrooms. I do regret not being there for that, but it sounds like it went well. I got a lot of personal like good feedback on that episode to the point where it's like I think Donnie might have just Wally pipped me and Billy.
Wally Pip.
Wally Pip, yeah. So before we get too far into this week's episode, which is going to be about credit, it's going to be about credit.
Donnie said he did the glasses things first. I just want to hear it from you.
Okay, I don't know when Donnie started doing glasses.
That's not a good start to this, but I'm listening.
No,
But I will tell you definitively when my glasses began their run. And that is August of 2015. I was in Cleveland, Ohio. I was there for the RNC debates leading up to the presidential election. It was the first one that they had. And I walked behind the setup of the hardball on MSNBC. They had like Chris Matthews and all those guys. They had like this thing set up out in Cleveland. And I walked behind and I held up that sign that said, "Is Joe Flacco an elite quarterback?" And that got on television. And I was wearing sunglasses at the time. Nobody knew what I looked like, anything about me. They did not know. They probably could have guessed that I was a white guy because I was blogging about sports at the time. But besides that, no one really knew anything about me or where I was from. And so I happened to have aviators on in that picture. And I was like, shit, I guess I have to always wear these glasses from now on if I want to keep like a little bit of that anonymity. So then I just kept wearing glasses after that. So it was August 2015. I don't know when Donnie started with his, but that's when I started with mine.
Beautiful. Love the origin stories of a hero.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
Did Donnie tell you?
He didn't tell us when, but he just said that y'all started it independent of each other.
True.
Didn't know. It's very, very possible.
So in this picture, PFT, which I remember, but I hadn't looked at it in a while, you also have a bandana on. How come that didn't make it long term?
That's a whole thing. You know, like being a bandana guy. I think even I have a line of just how willing I am to like debase myself, and I don't need to be stepping out here looking like Bret Michaels all the time.
You do look like Bret Michaels.
Yeah, Bret Michaels, Hulk Hogan. That's kind of their thing. I thought about becoming a bandana guy a couple years ago, and it's just that's a whole lifestyle. Once you put on a bandana, yeah.
It's definitely a commitment. It's a commitment for sure.
It's a big commitment. So I think, you know, I'm staying away from that. But yeah, Donnie might have worn his glasses first. I will fight him though. I'll fight Donnie. I think he probably. I don't know. Depending on what the rules are, I feel like Donnie's probably a pretty good boxer. I might be able to beat him wrestling.
You guys should just sanction it for like this Friday, because the training's what sucks. Like 3 minutes of fighting's like fun.
Just in rough and rowdy.
Yeah, it's just like locker boxing.
No training.
Yeah,
do it for real. No training. Just set it up.
Yeah, I don't know. Donnie and I might like each other too much. Just like step in the ring and go all out.
Just fuck around.
So you could slap box. That's what you used to do. You say shoot me a 30.
Yeah,
slap box.
That's
So
right.
for 30 seconds, I just slap box, and you can get the glasses off like that too. So
Yeah.
Shoot me a 30, and then what happens at the end of the 30 when you guys are so pissed off at each other from hitting each other too
shake
hard?
hands. It's just the rules of it. Like you can't take it personally. We got it out of the systems. Let's shoot me. Like I'm gonna need one. I'm gonna need 30. You get it out your system, and then you go on about your business being friends, man.
I like that. I feel like the world could do with a lot more of this shoot me a 30 talk and a lot less
Yeah.
of like, okay, I got a gun, you know?
Yeah. Enemies for life. Yeah, man. Just shoot me a 30. Yo, okay, so this is my first time seeing this shit, bro. What the fuck was you doing there?
Yeah.
It's so funny, though.
I was there. God, Chris Matthews looks like a fucking pervert in that picture too, doesn't he? Like in retrospect, yeah, this guy was a dickhead. But I was up there to cover the Republican debate for president. So that was the first one when it was Trump's first appearance on a stage in a debate. And he was just like roasting everybody. No one knew what to do with him. And he was, I think that's the one where he said that, like he called Rosie O'Donnell fat during the debate, said that Megyn Kelly was having her period, basically. He really went like full Trump in that first debate. Nobody had ever seen anything like it. It broke American politics. It became professional wrestling at that point. And it was like him, Rand Paul, Huckabee, Jeb Bush, Walker. Who else was there?
Talk us through the night, Big T. Who else was up there?
I remember that debate. My friends and I all got together to watch it. Like that was right before we went to college. That was my freshman year of college. And yeah, I remember that. That was the first question. Like they said to Trump, they're like, "You've called women pigs, whatever." He goes, "Only Rosie O'Donnell."
Yeah.
What I was gonna say to you though, I found the blog you wrote after that. Is this actually you that says it's a reporter from the BBC, and it says Wayne from Texas is a quote big time supporter of Trump. Says he represents a section of society usually neglected, and there's a picture. Is this actually you?
That's me, yeah.
This shirt?
And the shirt that I'm wearing.
We'll have to tweet it. It says Internet Commenters for Trump, and there's an acronym down the back that spells Benghazi, and it says, better not ever trust Dumbo tards, no Obamacare, great make America again, Hillary will kill us all, a hope and change question mark, then there's nothing for Z, and it says, I don't think so.
It was a pretty good shirt.
That's awesome.
I sold a bunch of those too afterwards. But yeah, Wayne is here. The BBC was interviewing me. That was a wild time. That's the first time I ever took PFT commenter for a spin in public. And it was
the internet was a big fan.
Yeah, it was quite a scene. It was absolute scenes in it, as they would say over in Europe. I remember that shirt. Yeah, on the front, I think where it says Internet Commenters for Trump, I'm trying to remember the different slogans that I put on there. I think one was like, arm elementary school teachers.
Oh, this is you also. Oh, it says, I'm an internet commenter and I vote.
Yeah.
Wake up, sheeple, arm elementary school teachers. I have black friends. You're Y-O-U-R-A idiot. And who's the real racist?
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I think that delivered the message.
And you have a 40 ounce of something that I can't tell what it is.
I was drinking Mad Dog. Yeah, Mad Dog liquor outside there. So, yeah, that's the origin story of the glasses, I guess, in a really long way.
Do you think that T-shirt, like plenty of other undecided internet commenters, were like, you know what, I am for Trump? Are you the cause of the last 4 years?
Yeah, no, it might be. Shit. That might have been. That was, in retrospect, the start of a movement for sure. I was joking about it, but I think other people weren't.
Convenient to say in 2021.
No, in retrospect, there's a lot of jokes that we all made probably in 2016 that did not age well at all.
Yeah.
But you know what? You live and you learn.
I mean, the Rovell tweet is the ultimate terrible take. Like, I feel terrible for our country, but this is going to be tremendous content.
Yeah.
Content wasn't that great, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. It really wasn't. People were saying when Trump got elected that, oh, this is going to start like a golden age of American punk rock music and art. And no, it actually just gave birth to like 100 former Obama staffers on Twitter firing off like narrator tweets, you know?
Yeah.
That's really the art that we got out of it. Kind of some bullshit. We are going to get back to macrodosing real quick, but before we do, I want to talk to you about our great friends over at BetterHelp. We love BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online company that you can use if you have stress in your life, if you have anxiety, If you're looking to talk to somebody and maybe you don't want to go ahead and make the commitment to go find a psychiatrist, go into their office, maybe you're uncomfortable talking to people face to face, BetterHelp can help you out a lot. And life is full of stressors. It doesn't matter who you are or what you have. Your life is probably stressful. You might not be feeling totally down and out. You might not be feeling depressed. Maybe you are, but maybe you're not. Maybe you're not feeling like you're at a total loss. But if your stress is high, your temper is shorter than usual, or even if you're starting to feel strained in any of your relationships, you could probably use the chance to unload. Unload the stress, get it out, talk to someone who's completely unbiased about your life, someone who will not judge you, someone who's not going to take sides on anything. When there are things that you can't tell anyone, or you feel like you can't unload to family and friends, you need to unload it. You need to get it out of your system. That's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp is customized online therapy. It offers video, phone, even live chat sessions with your therapist. You don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy. You can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. So get rid of those stressors, get some unbiased feedback. You'd be pretty surprised at what you might gain from it. You can just see if it's for you. And this podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month. Just try it out. I think therapy can help almost everybody, probably everyone. I think everyone could probably do better to have somebody in their life that they can talk to about all the stuff that you might feel uncomfortable talking about with others. So check them out. Go to betterhelp.com/dose. That's betterhelp.com/dose. Now, more microdosing. More macrodosing. All right, we're back. Credit. We're going to talk about credit. Oh, before we get into credit, we need to figure out what else we can do to ruin the milk crate challenge, because the milk crate challenge got. I think that we're all in agreement that the weightlifting guy absolutely ruined the challenge, right?
Talking about Bradley Martin.
Is that Bradley Martin?
That's Bradley Martin.
When he was eating his Gaines food.
Yep.
That's something Billy would have done for sure. Like halfway through. How did the milk crate challenge start? Because I saw it start to pop up on my timeline on like Saturday. But has this been around for a while? When is everyone's first sighting?
Someone said that MTV created it to sign 5 more years of ridiculousness. But I think it's hilarious.
There's a YouTube video from 2011 where they have a guy walking on milk crates and falling. So that's the first recorded milk crate recording of someone falling. It has then gotten out of control.
Yeah, I just saw it Saturday.
That guy rolling the blunt on it, he should be an Olympian.
Wait, Mike.
Yeah.
No, but did you see the other video of him flying too close to the sun?
With the other guy up there?
And just going down?
Yeah.
He jumped on with another guy.
I mean, well, listen, once you've already found and killed God, what else is there to do? Like, he already slayed the beast, so he was bored. I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure I've only seen like one serious injury. Everyone else is kind of just like popping up. A lot of people smoking cigarettes pop right up. So maybe we should look into that. Are those strengthening bones? Are those making us tougher?
I've seen two. I've seen 2 really bad ones.
Yeah,
somebody gonna die, dog.
I saw
Definitely.
a broken leg and a broken arm.
I don't.
I can't even watch them. That shit hurts. I get
don't.
like
How do you fall off that and not break your elbow?
something. Like people are landing like so far up on these plastic crates on the corners of them. It's just like I'm straight. I'm cool.
And like on concrete.
Yeah, so
Do you see they're doing it in prison now?
That's fine, I think.
There's one in prison, and every prisoner has a phone out filming it in the middle of like the yard.
minimum security
Are you
prisons.
against prisoners having phones?
I thought it was not allowed. Apparently, they don't give a shit.
I think we should give all prisoners phones, bro.
Are you on prison TikTok?
Yeah,
was gonna
prison
say,
TikTok.
There's a prison TikTok.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
they.
a side
yeah.
of TikTok where like people in prison have these like basically like phones from like 2006, and they somehow record and download TikTok, and they do dances and they'll like make skits up. It's so
I
funny.
love that. Yeah, everybody needs an artistic outlet or a creative outlet.
I agree.
I'm fine with that. What if they were doing the milk crate challenge out in the yard and they're like, no, let's do it right up next to the fence. Like, hey, make it just a little bit taller. No, Warren, don't worry. It's a TikTok thing. It's a meme.
Everybody's doing it on the outside.
Yeah, the milk crate challenge. It's something I will never do. I'm just telling you that right now. Like, why the fuck would you ever?
I think I'm gonna end up doing it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do it.
Yeah, I've been nominated basically to do it and represent the company. So
Okay.
we'll see how it goes.
Do it while drinking muscle milk and mixed with creatine or some stupid shit like that.
I don't know how it's gonna end up.
You should try to do it in the whitest way possible.
Yes.
Because people are getting mad at the bodybuilders, and they're like, "Well, you've gentrified the milk crate challenge." You should like just go as hard as you can and to make like do it on a stack of Weird Al records. Like, I don't know what else can you do? Like put some tofu in the milk crates.
They'll just listen to Creed while walking.
Yeah.
Can you get me higher?
Do it in front of Trump Tower. That would be fucking fun.
Oh God.
Jeez.
I mean, I think that people would love it if there was a milk crate challenge set up in front of Trump Tower, but everybody just like started breaking all their bones trying to do it.
Yeah,
So-
no doubt. No doubt.
It's
They sue Trump.
Yeah.
Hey, Jared, give this a shot. It is kind of fucked up, though, how so many people are kicking the milk crates over as people are on top of them.
Yeah,
Nah, that's weird old shit, dog. That's weird.
there was one in Shreveport that went viral yesterday where someone got to the top and then a drive-by broke out. Which is, if you know you have enemies like that, you can't be just standing as high as possible in the middle of the open, like with no way of getting down safely to escape. Like that's just.
Was that person the target of the drive-by?
I think so. I didn't see him complete it. I saw the person filming run away.
It panned away. We don't know. Did he stay on when the gunshots happened?
I mean, it's like you try and jump; those things aren't stable enough to jump off of. So you're just going straight down. Like it's not a great. And then you can't hide behind them. They're fucking milk crates. Like it's not. You need to have some awareness of your surroundings if you're going to be doing the milk crate challenge.
Yeah, if you got enemies, you shouldn't be at any kind of high point.
Yeah.
The thing is, the people who succeed, they use one foot and put their foot in the middle of the crates going up.
Nobody wants to hear how to do it,
But
bro.
the
It takes away the fun of it,
But
bro.
what everyone does is they go with 2 feet and then they just like slip out when they take the next step because their feet are too far apart.
You done broke down scientifically.
I
how to
actually
do
did.
the milk
White
crate
Mike
challenge.
was standing up there with 2 feet, very firm on that top one. He wasn't worried about anything.
Right.
Yeah, he killed the shit. He killed the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did do a film breakdown of how to do it, of the successful
All
ones.
22.
Yeah, I looked at what made them successful.
They're just a shitload of milk crates. That's what I've learned.
They just like lie behind like Stop and Shops, Walmarts.
Yeah. You never realize
Local
how many
grocery
there are out
stores.
there.
We used to have all kinds of milk crates.
That's how you make go-karts. They're great for making go-karts.
I don't know about that.
Go-karts?
I have a go-kart with milk crates.
What do you mean?
So you get the chassis, which is probably like a pretty long piece of 2x4. Then you use them for seats. You just cut out one side.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how do you make the rest of the go-kart?
I built a go-kart. You do need to. The hardest part is the wheels.
Motor.
No. This is just for going down a hill. We're talking gravity here. So it's nothing.
okay.
Yeah.
That's not a go-kart.
The soapbox.
Yeah, that's a roll cart that you're describing.
Yeah,
there's no
Got
go
you,
to it.
It's pretty
A
lit. It's
bobsled.
pretty
That's a
fun.
bobsled.
Yeah, it's a bobsled,
Bobsled.
exactly. It sounds awesome though, Billy. What was your time in
Bobsled.
the soapbox?
What do you mean?
Like, was it fast?
No, we just rode it down this one hill and didn't have brakes, and there was a lot of skinned knees and elbows,
Okay.
but it was a fun time.
Yeah, I gotta see that.
I mean,
Go ahead, brother.
they're a great versatile object to build stuff out of. Milk boxes, milk crates. But
I think we should have a soapbox derby here.
they're pretty fun.
There would be some really fucked up designs, like really bad. We have so many dumb people that work for it, myself included. Like, I would not be able to design a car. Fuck out of here.
Who do you think could
I'll
make the best car? Because I have a.
Quigs.
Yeah,
I was
Quigs.
just gonna say Quiggs.
He's
or
a
Derek-
rocket scientist.
Yeah, Quiggs and Derek Schumann were aerospace engineering majors, so I feel like they're.
I
pretty
bet
good
they
about
could
that.
design it, but I don't think they could build it.
Oh, are you saying that they lack?
Yo, where's that coming from, my G?
I don't know. I got super defensive.
Yeah.
No, because it was very competitive.
This is
It was very-
anti-intellectual.
No, no. I don't know where that came from.
No, I know where it came.
No,
You know
that's-
exactly.
No,
where it
because
came
me and my
from
buddies would get
came from the
super
soul is where it came
competitive,
from.
like about like building shit.
Billy doesn't think that nerds are real men. That's where that came
No.
from. That's exactly
They
what
could design it,
That's exactly.
but they couldn't build it.
He's a vegan. He doesn't know how to build a car. He took
I'm
math.
sorry, Quigs. Mad respect for the science.
Mad respect for the science quick. You're just saying that in case you have to take a test at some point. You need somebody to cheat off of.
Nah, I'm actually pretty down with science.
Billy is,
Fuck yeah.
Oh my god!
Billy
Put
is-
that shit on a shirt too.
I'm actually.
I'm actually pretty down with science.
I'm actually pretty down with science.
Well, yeah, let's sell that shirt.
A controversial take in today's climate, sadly.
No
Oh,
yeah.
question.
Let's sell that shirt. Let's sell the internet commenters for Trump shirt too. I think that might
Bring it
even
back?
sell more now. Yeah,
Jeez. Well, you know, Trump's with the science nowadays too.
he is.
Yeah.
Big science. Trump endorsed the vaccine.
That's wild, bro. Like to get booed by your own cult is crazy.
Dude, Trump is deep state. You can't trust
Deep
that
state
guy
now.
anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
he the whole time he was an implant.
Trump's, he's not MAGA anymore.
Wow.
I'm actually guaranteeing there's
Jesus.
going to be, after that vaccine comment, there's going to be clone theories that they killed him and cloned him in the middle of COVID.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's the new one.
Yeah, there's clone theories with every celebrity. for
I'm just
sure, yeah.
predicting theories to come out in the future.
So while we were on the road for Grit Week, Billy got into some of the theories that he had about the vaccine. This might get us like one of those labels on Instagram.
Yeah.
So let's not make a clip out of this. But his theory actually made sense, and I'm going to give Billy credit where credit's due. It's
shit.
one of his better theories. It's not crazy, but it's you
I
explain.
just double spin zone anti-vaxxers into being pro-vaxxers. Basically,
And
it's
see,
not
now when
the-
you started off explaining like that, you make me sound stupid.
I know,
by endorsing what you were about to say. Just
But it's
cut
not that-
you don't have to. You just made me even more confused myself. Just,
Complete the catch before you start celebrating the touchdown.
just say what it is. Don't make it more than it has to be.
So, if getting the vaccine isn't actually going to kill you, it's those who don't get the vaccine are going to get killed by the virus that becomes stronger because of the vaccine.
Correct. And what Billy was saying moreover was that like a lot of anti-vaxxers are saying that the vaccine is being used for population control. So it's a way of killing people that are taking the vaccine. Billy's saying that, yeah, the vaccine is actually being used for population control, but it's just because the people that aren't going to get it are going to get killed off at
By
a
the-
higher and higher rate.
It's like, they don't want the compliant people to die. The tinfoil conspiracy theorists saying, I don't believe any of this, but I like
the they is trying to wipe out the ignorant.
So, and the thing is, there is a little like, because the vaccine doesn't necessarily kill the virus and it still can spread, that like that virus can get super, like,
It's gonna keep mutating.
and get super high kill rates.
So in a way, their KD ratio is going to be
the so
sick.
like that. If you like explain that to like an anti-vaxxer, they'd probably be like, "Oh my god, I gotta get vaccinated."
Yeah, people who
think
love to
good luck-
listen, anti-vaxxers.
Yeah,
They'll be like,
I'm
"No,
saying,
dude,
good luck
like-
getting them to listen to shit like that.
I know, but you just spin zone like. Using that logic, you spin zone them into thinking that like,
But
if they don't get vaccinated, they're gonna die.
Using logic with anti-vaxxers is just not a good thing to do.
I know what Billy's saying though, because you could say to somebody, the elites out there are trying to kill people that are less educated,
Right.
via this virus, and they're like, yeah, I know, and then you're like, here's why, it's because they know that you won't get the vaccine and that you're all going to die off, and then the UN,
Yeah.
what is it, Proposition 230 or whatever. I need to review the documents more, but then that's going to come to fruition because so many people will die.
And then they're gonna keep doing these boosters until it just like keeps going. Gets the virus stronger and stronger.
Until there's only the elite left, the big brains.
This was just like,
vaccines.
this was very far out there. I don't actually believe any of this, but it's like a good thought process.
It could work, man. Go do it, Billy. Go
Like,
stand
just
on the
made
corner holding a sign.
I just made a pro-vaccine conspiracy theory.
You did. You did.
Boom.
And what Billy won't tell you is that he got the vaccination just because, like, we pretty much forced him to. We were like, hey, if we're going to be going on the road and we're going to be going into training camps, you have two options. One is you get the vaccine. The second is that you don't come along, because all these NFL teams and everywhere that we're going to be going, they're trying not to miss any games this year. They're trying to make sure that the owners don't lose out on a full game of ticket sales. So they're being very strict when it comes to the vaccine stuff. So, Billy, you did take the vaccine after a significant amount of bullying.
No, I was dragging my feet, but, you know, I thought it would open up. And never mind. It doesn't matter.
He did lose a lot of weight. He lost
did.
25 pounds of muscle mass after taking the vaccine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can you telepathically talk to Bill Gates yet?
No, not yet. But something keeps telling me to update Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mine kicked in. I got rid of my Apple. I'm now buying all Microsoft products.
No.
You got any metal sticking to you?
I was, like, thinking about this. Like, you know tranquilizer guns?
Yeah.
Like, you know how they just, like, shoot animals full of, like tranks?
Mm-hmm.
What if they did that with vaccines?
Yeah, just, like,
Just run around.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Shooting people with vaccines.
A distrusting public of their government. That'll go over well. Yeah, just go by randomly, drive by people with tranquilizer guns.
Dude,
Great idea.
I bet you Hunter Biden's considered that. Can you imagine him, like, just rolling up into town in the backseat of, like, a Chevy Avalanche, and he's got he's got a rifle with a scope on it, just
a safari jeep
rolling through the heart of Trump country, and it's Hunter Biden actually with a gun shooting you with a vaccine.
The vaccine.
Like that scene in the beginning of Mighty Joe Young, like the new one, where they're in the army jeep trying to try to tranking Mighty Joe Young.
Yeah. No, yeah, Hunter's just, like, smoking crack. He's got the vaccination gun on a turret, like the ones that you see in American Gladiators, and he's just rolling through Birmingham, just, like, gatting people on the sidewalks, blasting Fortunate Son. I mean, that would be a great movie. I would watch it.
That'd be just ridiculous.
So credit.
Oh, the FDA, real quick, the FDA just approved vaccines, right?
Pfizer, yeah.
So it's no longer emergency use authorization.
So they're gonna have to come up with a whole new bag of bullshit.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like, I am, like, the least trusting person in the world of Big Pharma. They've really fucked a lot of things up for us in this country.
I mean, they're fucking this up, but it's just,
Yeah,
you have to get it.
you have to get it. Big T, you haven't really said much recently.
What do you want me to say? I've been fully vaccinated since May.
Oh, I wasn't implying otherwise.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you had anything to contribute to the vaccination discussion.
Been fully vaxxed since May. That's what I have to contribute.
It's a personal question. HIPAA.
Not answering that.
Did you feel at risk of COVID? That's why you got it?
No.
Calling him fat?
No.
Why would he be at risk, Billy?
Wow.
Well, he's not.
Whoa.
Wow.
No, I just.
Big T looks like he
Billy.
wants to smack the shit out of you.
that was
And I don't
rude.
blame
That was
him.
rude, Billy.
I'm just. Did it?
It was the
Hang
sinister
on. Is
Grinch
this
look
the
on your
same
face when he
guy?
asked.
Is this the same guy that you said didn't get the vaccine till you made him?
Yeah.
And
I'm
when
just-
was that?
That was like a month and a half ago.
No, it was a long time ago.
Who's been calling
a month and a half
Who's
ago.
been calling me an anti-vaxxer on this show?
Yeah.
No,
That is the definition
when
of
did I
fake
say
news.
that?
We have that on tape, brother.
Yeah. Oh.
Whatever,
Fucking idiot.
dude.
Every time we come at somebody with receipts for something that they said, I want to hear. That's a goal. 2-0 West Ham, by the way. Every time we come at somebody with receipts about something, I want to hear that sound clip of Big T going, "We got that on tape, brother."
Yeah, what sucks is that we've just been fucking around about vaccines for the past 15 minutes, and then, like, someone's gonna hear this and be like, "Fuck, like, you guys think this, you guys think this." Like, we're probably gonna get anger from, like,
No, I don't think
everybody.
so. I think people
Don't
that
care.
like just
Yeah, I don't.
the people that
Don't care.
refuse to get the vaccine because they think it's like a deep plot. It's actually, like, percentage-wise, not as big as you might think. It's just you see a lot of them on Twitter. You see a lot of, like, people amplifying that sort of talk. And overall, it's like it's a very insignificant amount of. That's why people that spend all their time, like, trying to dunk on the anti-vaxxers and, like, try to win them over, you're kind of wasting your time. At this point, either people are going to get it or they're not going to get it. The only way that they're going to be forced into getting it is if you make people get it in order to, like, attend school or, like, go shopping or things like that. At this point, everyone's already made their decision about it.
Yeah. I agree. And on a side note, Billy, I think Big T could beat your ass.
Thanks, Arian.
I just do, man. You got the reach. I don't know, bro. I just don't see it. I don't see how you can get him, Billy.
I also think it was just Bush League what Billy just did to Big T.
What?
That's what I'm saying. That was bully shit. That was bully shit, dog.
I want you to. I want you to apologize.
It wasn't even that you asked.
No.
It was how you asked, my G. You was like, It was like this little sinister little grin on your face, like, did you feel?
He thinks he's so funny. He's enabled is the problem. It's not. It's not.
It's
him.
all of our fault.
Wait, now are you saying it's my fault?
Yeah,
that
it's
Big T.
Partly.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Two things can be true. Billy got some funny moments.
Sure.
Funny moments. He got some funny moments.
No, I'll apologize. I was being
There you go.
facetious.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Billy's been very defensive.
That's
already
also
today.
not an
He was banging
apology.
on an aerospace engineer earlier for no fucking reason.
Yeah, I don't know. Rolled up.
Bet he could design it, can't build it though. Fucking bum.
Billy, you said that you would apologize, but you didn't actually apologize.
I said I'm sorry. I was being facetious.
No, you
Look
said
at him,
I
though.
will
Look at him.
apologize. I was being facetious.
That was me apologizing. I'm sorry.
But you're looking at
Look at him. Yeah, look at
PFT,
Big
though.
T.
Look at Big T.
Wow, you got beautiful blue eyes.
Shut the fuck
See
up, Billy.
see
Just-
this
yeah.
guy. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it.
I was just.
I don't want it.
Yeah, no, I'm
I
with
don't
Big
want to
T.
have to
I'm
forgive
with
him.
Big T. I'm with
I'm
Big
just
T.
saying. I'm sorry. I was
No,
I was complimenting
He's being
him.
cute.
It's
He's trying
too
to be
late.
cute.
I
with
was
the apology.
complimenting him.
Your voice changed octaves. Like
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
that.
It's too
That
late.
was, I was
thing.
complimenting.
All right,
It's too
put,
late.
I was trying
Billy,
to butter. I was trying to get the apology.
put Billy in the sin bin for 2 minutes. Yeah, I mean you deserve it. You just came at Big T for no real reason. So think about what you've done and then get back to me.
Last thing before credit, dog.
Yep.
You gotta do this. So this episode's coming out tomorrow. Actually, so it comes out on my birthday. Shout out to my mom.
Happy birthday.
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
Popping up.
Arian.
It's tomorrow.
What year?
86 OG. But today is Kobe's birthday, so I just want to give a little homage to my guy, man. That was my guy. So give a little
Shout out Kobe,
shout out to Kobe, man.
legend. I haven't seen it. Bleacher Report's probably tweeted like 800 times about that.
Oh yeah.
It's been slow today since tomorrow's 8/24, so that's like he gets 2 days.
Yeah, 8/24 Kobe Day.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday, Aaron.
Thank you, man.
You do anything to celebrate?
Probably just gonna drink some wine, man. Oh, actually, cool story. Somebody hit me in my DM. I don't know how real this is gonna be, but he was like, "Hey, I heard you was in the red wine. Me and my brother got a winery. If you're interested in getting your own label and get your own taste of wine and stuff, like hit us up." And so I have a meeting set for tomorrow. Possibly the coolest meeting on earth is getting my own one, because all I drink is red wine. So that's like, if I could drink my own red wine, like just take me there, take me out.
I love it. Yeah. Keep us posted on that, please. Also, we haven't gotten a chance to talk, at least on the air. I mentioned it a little bit before we started recording. When me and Billy were on Grit Week, the last day, we got to hang out with Benny the Butcher and record a rap song with him. Arian produced the beat, sent me all these beats. I put like some guitars and shit over top of it. So I guess it's like a Macrodosing collaboration on the beat. And then it's Son of a Boy Dad, Roan and Lil Sass collaboration on the title. And it features Big Cat and me rapping as well as those guys. And it's going to be sick. It's coming out in like a week and a half. But Benny was very impressed with the beat, Arian. And he wanted me to tell you, shout out Arian. He was a big fan of yours when you were in the league. So he was impressed with your musical ability.
Oh, well, tell them to check out the latest project, Bohemia, out on all platforms, you know what I'm saying? A little self-plug, gang.
There you go. Bohemia.
Arian, one of our voicemails that I was listening to today was no question, no nothing. It was literally just someone calling saying that your songs were their favorite songs of all time.
I appreciate it, man. Put a lot of work into it, man. It's good stuff. I appreciate it every ear.
Arian's music is legitimately good. Very, very good stuff. I think the first time we had you on Part of My Take, I listened to your album right after you put it out. I was like, holy shit, this is legit. So it's Bohemia. That's the one that people should check out right now?
Yeah, it's my latest one. It just came out probably like a month and a half ago. Something like that.
All right.
But right around when Billy got a vex.
There you go. That's forever ago. All right, Billy's back off timeout. Billy, welcome back.
What's up?
Just
Welcome
watch
back.
your little sass mouth.
No. I don't know why I'm sassy today. Didn't notice.
Did you have a chance to work out this morning?
Unfortunately not.
Oh, okay. So I see what's
That's
happening
what
here.
testosterone
Yeah,
buildup.
dumb.
Sorry.
You've been working out Ben Mintz too much and not
Yeah.
able to get gains in of your own.
I know.
All right. Well, let's get into credit, guys. Let's talk about credit. Credit sucks. Credit's some bullshit overall.
Can we specify when we're talking about credit, right?
I'm on the fence.
Are we talking about credit or like debt?
What do you mean?
Well, it's a byproduct.
Right, but
Debt is a byproduct of credit. Well, not all the time, but can be.
because I may have done the wrong homework assignment. I researched debt
Okay.
Well, that's fine though,
debt is
because
a
it's a byproduct of credit.
because like credit only came along in like the 50s.
Yeah, 50s. You're around the 50s.
Yeah.
Well, so I did a little bit of research on credit, and maybe you guys saw some other information, but this is what I found on it. So you can trace people talking about credit all the way back to the Old Testament and the New Testament. Any sort of money lending, when it came to giving, you could like lend somebody money, that was fine, but you couldn't charge them interest on top of that money. So in other words, you couldn't make money off somebody having less money than you when they paid you back. That was known as usury. It was a sin. It was against all the rules. Jesus flipped over the tables in the money lender's office. I don't know what kind of operation they ran.
Are you saying that credit is ungodly?
I'm saying according
with this.
according to the Christian and Jewish Bible, it is a sin.
Yeah.
It's illegal to loan people money for the purpose of getting repaid with the interest level included in that. So you can't make money off of it. Yeah.
To
How
this
about
day, usury is illegal in certain countries in the Middle East that follow strict Sharia law.
Yeah. So there was for a long time you weren't allowed to lend people money and get paid back interest on top of it. And then I think it was in the 1500s, there was in like the Victorian era of England, everybody was your life, if you were living in that era, must have sucked because you all talked about like the Roman Renaissance and all this shit, and you thought about the Roman Empire as being the greatest time in the history of the world, and here you were living hundreds of years after that, just waiting for the second coming of Jesus. And that's really all that you had to look forward to then, because not a lot happened in those dark ages. Not a lot happened in between the time of the Italian Renaissance, and like people were just kind of like keeping their head above water for a while. And they thought that the economy was zero sum, meaning like it was all based on gold or land to a certain extent, and there's only so much gold that you can have or so much treasure that you can have. And so if you wanted to increase your wealth, it meant that somebody else was going to have to lose some of theirs. There was no notion of let's grow the economy. That was not really a thing at the time. But then some people started to think about it more and said, well, if you were able to grow the economy, then we can increase the size of the pie. And yeah, some people have bigger slices, some people have smaller. But in order to do that, you had to figure out a way to lend people money. And the way that they figured that out was, I think it was Charles V said, you know what? If you're able to loan to the rich and you're able to help people grow the economy, it's a benefit to society as a whole. So I think that really goes along with what Jesus was teaching. That goes along with what we learn in the Bible is improving society for everybody. So if you can loan people money, then it's a good thing. And I think that Jesus would appreciate that. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to put a cap on it and say you can loan people money, but it can't be higher than 12%. 12%, they just like said that's what Jesus would approve of. Like, let's not get out of hand. I think Jesus would agree that these APRs are just fantastic. We must be crazy if we went any higher than that. And so that became the definition of usury at that point, which was 12% is like that's as high as you're going to get. And then Elizabeth I said any interest rate above 10% means like that's null, that's illegal. So if you took out a loan beforehand and it was 12% loan, you don't have to pay that extra 2% back. She set the limit at 10% because she wanted to compete with other countries that had seen, okay, England is putting out, they're legalizing charging interest rates. So what if we just said like 10% instead of their 12%? And so the Netherlands, I think France was another one of them, they like undercut the British lending rate. And then England set theirs at a flat 10%. And they said, this is the definition of usury at this point. So they kind of took everything that had happened in the past and said, they just like changed the wording and changed the definition of what it meant to be a good Christian to conform with what they wanted to do with their economic policies anyways, to allow money lending.
So debt is kind of crazy in lending money and that whole idea, but the idea of debt like predates money, exchange economy or even a bartering economy. The idea of debt dates back to prehistory. The idea that many communities, and there's a great book called Debt, The First 5,000 Years by David Graeber, who sort of explained that debt happened amongst communities, and some of the first forms of any sort of market or exchange were really just neighbors giving each other gifts when they could as sort of a form of informal debt. So, for example, let's say I had a harvest, had a certain amount of grain I had excess, I would just give it to the rest of the group as without any sort of expectation of formal, you owe me something, but in the agreed idea that's one, you had excess, you would share it with the rest of the group. And that was sort of this idea of exchanging of goods whenever was sort of this original idea of debt. And then when bartering economies sort of formed with the exchange, and some people like the idea of money as a whole, of a unit of measurement to exchange, actually, the sort of concept of it predates any sort of coinage or paper money. Like, for example, cattle and livestock were kind of considered money in the bartering system, whereas like you hear these ideas like, and it still today happens in some nomadic communities where they exchange like 5 cows for a certain amount of goods, and that's even though that's
you know what else was a part of this? You know what else was a part of this was marriage. Marriage was a part of this as well. They used to like barter off their daughters, like you give me certain land or livestock, and I'll offer my daughter to your oldest son or whatever the case.
Right, and that's sort of where this idea of debt comes from, because in the exchange of goods without the direct expectation of getting something in return immediately is sort of this idea of recorded debt. And a lot of this was on social interaction and sort of social standing, whereas if you didn't pay your debt, you were sort of letting down the rest of your community. But this idea of debt getting recorded then extends once sort of the market economy occurs, and like the ideas of harvests and the inability to repay different lenders because of a harvest and how it will turn out, sort of start to get these more rigid constructions of monetary systems and payment.
Also, it would be such a flex to just like roll up to the market with your entire herd of cows, like the biggest herd of cattle in the entire like in the country, and be like, I keep a pretty fat stack on me all the time. Like just letting everybody know how rich you were just by like, these are my animals. You would actually be fucking loaded, Billy, if money was still based around how many animals you had living with you.
I think that way.
Yeah.
Peasants.
So there was also that, remember that we talked about this with the crypto stuff back in the day, where there was that island out in the South Pacific, I think, and people would there were these giant stones that people would keep in their yards that were like too big for one person to move. And so that was just how they kept track of who had what money. It's like, oh, I've got 6 of these 20-foot stones.
Yep stones?
Yeah. Exactly. So you can trace the usury and like money being loaned out at interest rates back to about like the 1100s or 1200s, at least when it comes to Europe. So caveat on all this is all like very Eurocentric what I'm going to be talking about, because I frankly wasn't able to find anything out about what the practices were in China or in Africa or in India or in South America at the time. All I know is what happened in England. Maybe somebody else has been able to look into that. But that takes us like through at least a few hundred years. And then in the modern credit and debt era, we talk about like the 3 credit monitoring bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, right? I think those are the 3. Do you guys know what your credit scores are?
I don't have one.
You don't have a credit score?
I recently, I never opened up a credit card, so I had no credit score.
You should
You have a credit score.
No, they looked it up.
It
I didn't have
can't be 0, can it? Is that even possible?
one. I literally was trying to get an apartment, and it was like, you don't have a credit score? I was like, no.
I think you don't have credit. You don't have any credit built, but you probably still have a score.
I think that's the case.
Then that's probably a dog shit
It's
score.
low.
though.
Yeah, it's probably low because like no credit. They say bad credit is better than no credit, or some stupid shit like that. I
Yeah,
don't
they
remember.
do. It's a very dumb fucking system.
Did you?
When I came out of college, when I was fresh out of college, I didn't know shit about credit at all. I had dog shit credit though. You probably didn't have to deal with this, but my financial guy calls me. He's like, "Yo, you had a bill overdue since you was 8 years old." I was like, "What?" So my parents put the phone company, the phone bill in my name when I was 8, and that company wasn't even in service anymore. Fucking hilarious.
But that's still on your credit report. Like they keep track of
It
that
was,
shit.
yeah.
I'm sure I still have my gas bill from when I was in college, where they came by and they shut my heat down, because I figured that if the mail was in my mailbox and I never checked it, then it didn't make a difference. Like it wasn't real until I got the letter out. Turns out they'll just shut off your gas after a while. So I'm sure that's still on my credit report even after all these years. But yeah, Billy, you need to start building credit.
What's your credit score, PFT?
I don't know what my credit score is. I know it's pretty good because when I bought a home when I was in Austin, I qualified for a decent loan. So I think at the time it was around like 790 or 800.
Oh, that's big time.
I don't
That's
know
good
what it's
stuff.
at now, but I haven't missed any payments on any bills. But I don't have a mortgage up here. I just have rent. I don't own a car anymore, so I don't have a car payment. So I would assume it's still pretty good though, if that's what it was.
Yeah. No, I gotta be.
What about you guys?
I'm at like 840.
Damn.
Yeah.
Is it possible to be rich and have shitty credit?
Mm-hmm.
I said coming in here I was going to be disappointed if you didn't have a good credit score.
Why is that, Big G?
Because you're rich.
It must be pretty tough
How
to
you
have.
know I'm rich? How you know I'm rich? Why you in my pockets, dog?
Well, I think you've said on this podcast before you're rich, but I mean your career earnings are public record.
We got that on tape, brother.
Yeah.
I think that needs to be a T-shirt.
We got that on tape, brother.
I totally researched the wrong thing for this.
Okay, it's cool, Billy. Don't beat yourself up over it.
No, I
Oh
feel-
shit!
I've
Look at him. You can see him melting. Look at his soul. Look at
melting.
his soul is whittling away. What are you gonna do now?
I don't know. What are we talking
As
about?
You're not the info guy now.
Yeah. Billy doesn't have any facts today,
No
guys.
facts.
Oh shit! Big
That's a
T got more
shame.
facts than Billy today.
All
Big's
my
a
facts
shame.
are about like money lending and like the Viking times to go like raid monasteries.
That's fine. Yeah, but Big T, you have any facts?
Not in like that way really about credit, I guess.
What do you mean? What
I mean,
way?
it's a bad week to ask for that. Like I don't have any fun facts about credit.
Okay. Bad week, my fault. Should
Yeah.
not have asked you.
Well, anyway.
So, yeah, we need to get you some credit, Billy.
Can you get me some credit too? Because I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. So what you need to do is take out, go to a payday lender, take out a loan that's way more than you can afford,
Right.
and then you start paying that back until they come at you and they repossess your car.
So I have a credit card that my mom, like when I graduated college a couple months ago, my mom made me get a credit card because she was like, okay, now you're an adult and you need a credit card. I didn't like when I got my apartment in the city, I didn't need it, or like I didn't need to
Did he
give
take
them-
a credit check on you? Because that's where I found out I had no credit.
Okay, so no, because I have my dad is my guarantor, so it was like his credit. Like I pay rent, but like because I had no credit or no, and I'm an intern, so I didn't have an income like that they could be like, okay, this is like 40 times the rent. So they don't need it, but I don't like my mom just says like, okay, if you're buying like furniture or like something big, put it on the credit card. I don't know I don't know how this shit works. Can this be like a crash course for how like, young adults can
Why would I need a credit card? I like have a debit card. I don't want to open a credit card because why would I want to spend money I don't have?
Really,
that's
the only reason.
That's not what credit is for.
I watched a video on it that showed why credit is a good thing and like why credit cards aren't the devil. But I am so nervous to fuck up my credit and then like I can never buy anything big.
Mm-hmm. So that's why you never. This is a advice to you young folks. You never buy things with a credit card which you cannot pay back at the end of the month.
What am I paying it back with though? My debit card?
No, with your bank account. Like,
so why am I? So why am I not just using it with my debit card?
Okay. Don't yell at me. I didn't.
No, I'm not yelling at you. I'm not yelling at you. It stresses me out.
Yeah, Arian will give you a good explanation.
So this is the basic. This is based how you should use it, right? Don't get a big credit card. Get like a $500 limit, $1,000 limit, right? And just start small by buying groceries with it. You buy your groceries with it, and you pay that off at the end of the month. $300 or $400, however much you use for groceries, right? Just do this like little gas money, stuff like that. And over that says to the credit company, it says, okay, this person is a responsible person, which is all that it is. Your credit score is basically a reflection for lenders to say how probable will this person pay me back? How probable is it that this person will pay me back? That's all it is. And so if you're highly likely to pay a lender back, you get a lower interest rate when you have like a big purchase, a home, a car, something like that. Okay. And that's what you want to base it around. Don't base it on like, yo, I want to go ball out at the mall and I'll hustle and find it at the end of the month. No, that's the worst way to do it. That's how you get in the forever ending debt of an American economy. So you just want to use it to pay off small stuff.
So like, okay, so for people like Billy and I who like pretty much just started like quote unquote like adult life. So if I like just started a credit card, like what's like the base credit score? Like what's my credit score if I like have nothing yet?
I think that there's a lot that goes into that. It's variable from person to person depending on like your background, how much money you have in the bank, all sorts of other stuff. But I think my best guess would be if you just started building credit. Yeah. If you've made like a couple payments, I don't know, probably like mid 500s, something like that.
And what's the highest it can be?
That's a good question. Was it 800 something?
I thought it was 800.
It's like super. Yeah, it's
850.
Okay, it's 850. Okay, yeah.
So the idea of creditors like taking stock of individuals and how creditworthy they are is something that dates back to like biblical times. Like you'd have a set amount of people who would lend money Bring
it back to you, Billy. Bring it back to you, baby.
I got it. I did find this one. No, that basically to determine if someone was able to pay back loans, and there was basically standing in the community, and that's how lenders would figure it out. It was between like all types of institutions used to lend money back in the day, like churches, like in Rome, different churches of different gods would lend money, and like also, you know, kings and queens would lend money. For example, Christopher Columbus actually died in prison because he couldn't pay back loans from Queen Aragon of Spain and the other guy from that financed his trips to the New World.
So, okay, so this is gonna be another dumb question. Do credit and taxes have to do with each other at all? Or are those two separate entities?
No, you can fuck up your credit if you don't pay your taxes correctly, and then you get a lien on your paycheck or something like that, where you start to owe money to the federal government. Okay. Then that can fuck up your credit.
And there's a lot of different things that can attack your credit, like child support. Something like they can come out, they can garnish your wages. Right. Any kind of debt owed can eventually get shown on your credit report and fuck up your whole shit.
I feel like actually, Cole, you go first. I don't know.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I had given up on my credit probably, I'm 31 now, so like 7 years ago when I was just like working security. Like I was not paying back student loans, getting a lot of angry calls from people. And yeah, my credit score tanked. And then when I got to New York, it was just like, all right, well, I'm going to be living in apartments forever. Like I completely gave up on ever being able to buy a home, shit like that. And then when it came time last year to actually like, oh, I have a child now, I need a home. didn't think it was going to be possible. But like fixing your credit wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Like mine was bad, like not good. But like I only had to pay off like 4 things, and it jumped like 150. Like it was very shocking to me how easy it was to bounce back.
Also, why? Okay, so Coley, that makes me feel better about the fact that you're not screwed for your whole life.
Right.
But also, the only like really credit score information I have is from like credit score, like Credit Karma commercials, no free ads. Why does it hurt your credit score to look at what your credit score is? Or is that a real thing? Or is that just a Credit Karma thing?
So there's 2 different ways they look at it. There's like a soft pull and a hard pull. Soft pull is, and I still don't fully understand why it can negatively impact your score to like have someone look at it, but soft pull is like you checking it yourself on one of those kind of apps. And you can do that whenever. It has 0 bearing on your score at all. A hard pull is when you like apply for a loan or like try and buy a car, try and buy a house. That's what they consider like a hard pull. Apply for a credit card, stuff like that. I don't have the answer as to why that would ever negatively impact you, but it's also like they kind of do it by priority. So like a hard pull can negatively impact it, but it's low impact, as opposed to not paying bills on time is what they consider high impact. So you want that above 90%. Obviously you want it 100%. That's not always feasible for everybody, but as long as you're above 90% paying your bills on time, you're good, because that's high impact. Those hard pulls that we're talking about for loans and stuff, that's low impact, but can still fuck up with your score a little bit.
The way it was explained to me is that if you do a soft pull, it means that you're considering getting a loan somewhere and you're shopping around because it makes a big difference to you to like get like a slightly better interest rate at this one place versus another place, and you probably don't have as much financial literacy to know where you're going to go to get the best credit score. So it's basically saying like, oh, look at this broke boy applying for loans all over town, and it's a way of like negatively impacting that a little bit. That's how it was explained to me when I was selling used cars back in the day. And it will like, because if you have to do a soft pull on your credit score, in theory it's because you're not sure what you could qualify for. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
I think like one of the big things that people need to understand, especially young people, and like people my age too, right? I'm of the 1%, so it's like I'm not discussing people like me, but like it's like a daunting task, right? It's like it's people get afraid of checking into their finances, looking at their finances. Like some people are afraid to look at their bank account sometimes because they're just unsure what's in there, right?
That's me.
Yeah, it's about being honest about where you're at. Like that's what it is, and not being feeling bad about where you're at, right? Like we're all at where we're at, but in order to get any kind of progress where you want to have progress financially, you have to be honest about where you're at. You have to be honest about what you know. Don't beat your chest. Don't pretend. Like I know a little bit about this just from because I hire financial planners, right? So like we have conversations, but that's what I pay them to do that. I pay them to watch my finances, watch the stock market, and I get explained what I get explained. But I think people like in the day-to-day, they don't have time, especially if they're grinding on a 9-to-5, they don't have time to learn the nuances of financial literacy. And so it's about seeking the information and being honest about where you at. This is where I'm at. This is where I want to get to. And just this is what it is. I think we have in this country, there's like a stigma talking about finances, talking about how much money we make, because nobody wants to seem like they're poor. Nobody wants to seem like they don't have enough or they don't have. But fuck that shit. You're at where you're at, and if you want to get to a certain goal, you got to be honest about where you're at, or else you're gonna be chasing your tail your entire life.
And the irony is, if you try to pretend that you have a lot more money than you do, that's actually the fastest way to becoming seriously poor. Is when if you get yourself into trouble, and like Arian was saying earlier, use a credit card to go out there and buy stuff that, like big purchases that you don't necessarily need, but you're like, oh, it's a credit card, they'll let me spend this money, and I can get this jacket, or I can get whatever sort of material thing that you want that you might not be able to afford, and then you can't pay it back on time, and then that does impact your ability to buy a big ticket item that you will need down the road, like a car or like a house if you want to get to that point. So
I think one of the biggest things I learned too was like keeping up with the Joneses is like he said, it's a one-way ticket to disaster financially. Finding out that there were cats in the NFL that were living check to check was fucking crazy to me. Like you can get $300,000 in one check, right? But that's how bad your spending habits are. That's how bad your expenses are. Is all that shit goes, and you literally living check to check with a massive amount of money coming. Like, and that shit was scary to me. And so I was always like scared to death of going broke because I see how fast it goes. Even at the level of getting that much money per check. And that sounds stupid. You're like, how the fuck can you blow $300,000 in a week or two? It's like you'd be surprised. You got bills, you got friends, you got family, you got all of this stuff. People surrounding you. You wanna go out to the club. You go out to the club. Like we used to go out to dinners. Every Thursday we go out to dinners. Like sometimes it was the linemen, sometimes it was just with the RBs, and like the check would be like $3,000-$4,000 for fucking a meal, and we would all like. And like, granted, that's not sustainable. I don't do that shit nowadays. But when you're living that kind of lifestyle, right? And I don't live that lifestyle anymore. But when you're living that kind of lifestyle, that shit goes. But it's just like anything else. If I make 60 grand a year, 50 grand a year, there's a certain lifestyle that you have to live in order to have a sustainable a pathway financially. Mm-hmm. And so it's about being honest about where you at, though. That's the thing. People ain't honest about that shit. And people would be surprised, though. I have one pair of jeans right now. I have one pair of jeans. I'm a multimillionaire. I have one pair of jeans. I just refuse to spend my money on frivolous shit. I'm not into that shit. I just can't. I can't rectify spending all that money on clothes. It's just dumb shit. And so like I try not to blow my money on dumb shit.
That's really smart. Everybody out there, rewind the last minute and a half of this show and listen to what Arian just said again. That's probably the smartest thing that anybody's ever said on the show. It makes so much sense too, because like depending on what station you're at in life, if you're around other really rich people, you might be inclined to do things like, go out and spend a lot of money on a certain dinner from time to time. But you need to take like a bigger picture of things, and like that money is not going to be around for forever. So if you kind of keep things medium with your spending, that's going to be a much safer way to do it. What's the biggest restaurant tab that you ever saw?
I think we was with the O-line, and when the O-line, they're assholes, man. They used to there's this shit called Louis the 13th, right? And it's yeah, so it's this liquor. I don't even know. I'm not into whiskey or scotch or whatever the fuck it is, bourbon. I don't know. It's one of them. And so it's like $400, $500 a shot or some shit like that, something dumb. And so we would order bottles of the shit, which was like $1,300 a bottle or something like that. So that shit would get passed around. Steaks, sides. There's 16 of us eating at one time or something like that. So like I seen tabs get up to the 15, 20 grand range.
Damn.
Which is just wild. It's just wild. Bro.
There's no liquor in the world that's worth $400 a shot.
At all. I could get a $25 bottle of Crown Royal. Good money.
Unless it has mushrooms in it. Then I could maybe. That's still a lot of money. But you could still just go out and buy an eighth.
Yeah, the mushrooms themselves are much cheaper.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
PFT's been getting ripped off by his mushroom dealer.
That mushroom guy's been absolutely fucking me. Yeah.
What do you find yourself, because we're talking about it and the responsibility aspect, of course, but like what do you find yourself splurging on? Like what do you like to treat yourself with?
So like this setup I have in here, it was probably a good like $6-7 grand.
Yeah. It's
little stuff like that. So the PFT mentioned I made the beat for that Benny the Butcher shit. I have a studio set up in my upstairs room, so I got like nice speakers. That studio probably cost me 20, right? Yeah. So, but that was over the course of like a good 6 years of me getting something here. Right. I just didn't drop 20 on it. So like I don't really splurge like that. Everybody that knows me knows. Only thing I spend money on is people around me, like taking care of this, taking care of that. Like, and I don't mind doing that because like at the end of the day, like I don't want to die being a millionaire, bro. That shit would be dumb as hell. So like I want to like make sure my kids are set up. They all have 529 plans, which is a college plan. I think the craziest shit I'll do, I'll travel. Like so.
Experiences essentially.
Yeah, I'll go travel. Like I'll go to New York and stay at a nice hotel, and just sit in that motherfucker. I won't even do nothing in the city. I just sit in that motherfucker. I had a hotel in New York. I think it was right across. It was in Brooklyn. The one hotel, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That bitch had a hammock in it with the city view. That's why I was so lit on the Oceans episode because I had a nice.
You've just been swaying in the breeze all day, drinking wine. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's smart though. Like I'm kind of the same way where it's like material shit. Don't really spend that much money. I don't really have time to enjoy any material stuff either, just because we work a lot. So I've got a decent television. Guitars is probably the one thing. Like
Yeah.
I'll buy a nice guitar every now and again. I'm probably overdue to treat myself to something nice.
Yeah, and I think that's big too. I'm not saying being Nazi about this shit. You don't have to be like I'm not spending like, but like you should enjoy your spoils, absolutely. But like figure out what it is and figure out how to be cost effective and enjoy yourself.
Yep. And Billy, to get back to building your credit, you should have like a weekly thing that you purchase. So I don't know how often do you buy frog food?
Like once a month on Amazon.
Once a month on Amazon.
Basically,
how much do you spend on frog food?
It's literally like $7.
Oh, that's it. Dude, you gotta.
What do frogs eat?
Yeah, no, his frogs are probably fucking miserable.
Freeze-dried mealworms.
Billy's buying.
No, they love it.
You're buying the worst food.
No,
for them.
They love it. You sound like a slave over Billy. They love it.
They eat.
Take care of your. Well,
I take care of them. I do not worry. I take care.
Take care of your frogs, bro.
I do.
Take care of your frogs.
I do.
Get the high quality frog food.
As a former frog owner myself, I always got fresh live crickets for my frog.
What type of frogs did you have?
Little guy.
You never told me you had frogs. What type of frog?
We grew we got the tadpoles in fifth grade, and we
changes
grew them.
Things.
And we grew them from tadpole to frog, and I got to keep mine. His name was obviously Fred the frog. He was a great guy.
Billy's like, you've been holding out on your frogs.
I didn't know we had a fellow frog guy here. Anyway,
traveler.
Well, where I live now, I live right on a brook, and so I saw a massive fucking guy on my front steps the other day. I tried to take a picture of him, but my dog scared the shit out of him, so he jumped away.
No, yeah, I mean, I have a very I know. I have a budget, like an Excel spreadsheet that I budget out all my expenses. So,
I mean, how much protein powder is probably the most expensive thing you buy, right?
I don't actually take protein.
Okay.
I can tell.
Because no.
What's your biggest line item in your budget? We're gonna get you a good credit score, Billy.
Honestly, it's probably like weekends, because that's the only time I eat out.
Okay.
I mean, rent though too. Right?
Rent, of course.
Yeah, rent doesn't count on.
You can't really pay rent with credit.
I don't have that many expenses. I don't spend money.
Okay, so but do you have a recurring monthly?
Just groceries.
Food.
Yeah,
groceries.
Food.
Okay. How about this? Every time, what kind of protein do you like to eat the most?
Well, I buy chicken breast.
Okay.
And then I keep it, and then I meal prep with it.
Okay, so every time you buy chicken breasts, put that shit on a credit card. And then at the end of every single month, pay off exactly how much you owe. Although I have heard from some people, maybe someone here knows a little bit more about this than I do. I've heard that you don't necessarily want to pay everything down to zero. You want to have like a little bit riding on that account. But I would say pay off what you owe every single month and just keep that going. Go do that for like a year.
Now, this is my argument. So let's say I spend $20 on chicken. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the month, I use my credit card, but then isn't it more expensive because of the interest on that $20?
No, the interest typically, and sorry to cut you off, but the interest will typically only kick in if you don't pay it off. So as long as you keep paying it, it will stay. It won't cost more.
From what I learned, yeah, like if you pay your credit card bills on time, that's the only form of lending. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like the only form of lending that doesn't have interest, because if you pay it on time, they don't
like it when you pay it on time, because that's not how they make their money. But yeah, if you pay it on time, then you won't start running into this whole interest that snowballs on you.
Yeah.
So just pay it off every month, and then that builds credit, and then people that look at your credit report in the future will be like, oh, this person pays his shit, and then they'll be more inclined to loan you money. But you
and it's really good to start now, right? Where you're young, right? Young, low 20s, and you build that shit for 10 years. If you do that shit, if you buy chicken on your credit card, you have a chicken credit card for 10 years, dog, that shit'll build your credit. And all of a sudden, you 35, you want to buy a house, it's easier to get a loan for it.
That's basically what I did. So I'm a year out of college. Last year, I got a credit card. I just went on a website. I typed in all my information. It told me like what credit cards would be best for me. Got a credit line, and I just started paying it off. Like I'm just like I don't max it out, because apparently if you max it out, I found out that it's actually worse. Like they want to see credit in your account. So I do about half. So I do half my credit line. And it works. I build about like 2-3 points every 2 weeks when I pay it off, and it's going up at like 720 now.
It becomes negative the second you stay over 50%. So that doesn't mean like you max it and you pay it at the end of the month. That doesn't matter. But if like over a month to 2 months you're still above that 50% line, that's when it can be negative on your score.
Yep. So Billy, just try buying smaller things on it, paying it off every month. You'll be fine that way. But it's pretty important to like start getting credit going at this age.
Yeah. The really dope shit is like, so American Express is like it's like a high end credit card company. But Amex has so many perks, right? They have like a concierge, right? I have a platinum. I think you have to spend like $2 million or something like that a year in order to have a black card or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I don't know. Yeah, something like that. But mine's also unlimited. But the dope shit is, and this is why I encourage people to have credit, because it's like when you have good credit, people treat you better. Like companies and stuff like that. Like I hate to say it, but it is just fucking, it's classic. But like so they have a concierge at Amex. So like if there's an event you want to go to, right? They're like, yo, can you give me tickets to an event? Like they have strings that they pull in any like games, like all that stuff, and it's all for free, right? One time, they called me and it was like, yo, we have a fraud of a purchase of $1,800. We have an alert on. Was this you? And I was like, oh hell no, that wasn't me. I didn't do that. And then so they wiped it from my credit score. Like they wiped it from my account, even though the purchase went through. Gonna find out like a month later, whatever I ordered actually came. I was like, oh shit, I did actually order that. But they just forgive shit like that because you're so diligent about paying it off. And you'll not find just your credit card companies do that. Everybody you deal with like professionally, that's how they view you. And so it's more of like, it's like fiscal currency, man. That's all it is. Like people just treat you kinder, and like I need all that I can get because I don't deal with people too well.
It's like having a Yelp account for yourself.
Yes,
right. It's like that episode
of Black Mirror.
That episode of Black Mirror, where that was mostly based on people's like online media and social media profiles, but this is about just their financial situation. And so it's a way for companies to keep score of you. It actually, so it goes back, I traced back the history of credit in the United States to the 1800s. In 1898, there was a Tennessee grocery store, and they set up a system called retail credit. And it started in this one grocery store. I don't know whether it was in East Tennessee, Big T, or where Dollywood is, or if it was in Central Tennessee.
We'll look into it.
But they started a credit system. And so the shopkeeper there would keep track of which one of his shoppers was good about paying him back for things if they didn't go to the store with their moleskin filled with coins or whatever the fuck they used for currency back then. And so the guy would he'd write down how much you owe me in the ledger, and then if somebody paid him back on time, they'd get a good mark for it. And so over the course of years, it started to grow and grow and grow. And then this dude started to sell his list to other grocery stores and retailers in the area in Tennessee. Basically just like, here's a list of people that are good for it. That is really a Yelp for humans is what he was selling back then.
They used to do that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say it kept growing until I think like the mid 1900s. And then they just changed the name of it to Equifax. And that's where that bureau comes from. That's how it started.
Wow. So I a little bit of research I did. They also did this in New York. Like like in the 30s, 20s, 30s, where they would same concept. They actually had cards though, I think, and it was like a club card for like really nice restaurants in New York, like 1 or 2 restaurants in New York. That a guy would come in and just show you that you have a card. They'd put your bill on a tab basically, and at the end of the month you come back and pay it. And if you couldn't pay it, like you were never allowed to eat there again.
Feels fair.
Yeah, that does. Although,
Feels
you
fair.
would get a shitload of people just going there once and be like, yeah,
One time,
I don't plan on
I'm
coming
gonna
back.
go finish a steak from there tonight.
Oh no, I can't come back to the expensive restaurant I was never going to go to. Yeah.
This might be a question that we don't have an answer to, but where do like bounce checks fall in all this? Because that used to be like, I know at least by me, they used to like tape them to the register. Like, if you were this person, we're not accepting your shit anymore.
Yeah. I think that was mostly just to embarrass the people as a deterrent.
No, for sure.
It's like if you
For sure.
if you write me a bad check in this establishment, your preacher, your teacher, your babysitters, any girl that you might be thinking about asking out, they're gonna see your name and be like, "Oh shit, that guy's broke."
Speaking of bounce checks, has everyone in this room seen Catch Me If You Can?
I have.
Yeah,
I just watched that
fire.
the other day. I just watched it over the weekend.
One of the best movies of all time.
So good.
Fire.
Great movie.
I saw it once when I was really little and don't remember any of it.
Billy, you would really like it. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
So that was kind of going back in time to how a grocery store contributed. So there are three credit bureaus that contribute to your score. One is Equifax, that's the one from Tennessee, and then there's another one started in 1826 with a group of London merchants, and then they would just like it started out like word of mouth. And they'd be like, hey, this person doesn't pay. Oh, yeah, I heard this person doesn't pay. Stuff that you would normally talk about if you were a business owner meeting with other business owners back then. But then it grew and grew and became a little bit more formal. And then there were 2 aerospace engineers that got...
They can't build it.
Yeah, they can't. Exactly. Exactly. These 2 guys, let's just call them Q and... What should we call the other guy?
Jonathan.
Billy.
You had Q and J. They got together and they thought they were actually kind of like how crypto evangelists are now. They're like, yo, credit, that is the currency of the future. We need to set up like a formal organization around credit. And they started this company and they basically they wanted to sell people their credit scores. So back then, you could have a bad credit score and not know. And so their idea was, okay, we have everybody's credit score. What's a good way of making money off this? Not just so that we're selling it to retailers, but we can also deal with the general public. Oh yeah, let's sell them their own credit score and make money that way off that end of it. And that became Experian in 1996. So that's where the second one came from. And now you can it's the law that you can access your credit report for free. You can look up your credit score if you want to. And then in 1969, a company acquired a debt collector, which I'm very woke on the fact that debt collection services are very much like in cahoots with credit companies. They're just like 2 sides of the same coin that feed off of each other. But in 2002, they bought a debt monitoring service and they bought a debt collector, and they became TransUnion. And that's the third credit monitoring system. And so that's how you get your FICO score. And do you guys remember back in like the early 2000s, there was like you couldn't watch a television show without seeing a commercial for freecreditreport.com.
Yeah.
You guys remember that?
Tell your friends, tell your dad, tell your mom.
Yeah. So I was always very woke to that, in that if you're looking up your credit score based on a commercial that you see on TV, it's probably because you have some shit that you think might still be on your credit score in the past. So if you've got a couple defaults, or if you had a repossession, or if you had like a utility bill that you know that you still owe money on, that's the prime audience for somebody that would type in freecreditreport.com to look up their own credit score. And you have to give like a certain amount of information to access it. I think that all that info went to a debt collection service. That would be like, okay, here are the hot leads coming in. Oh, this person, they owe, $400 based on an electricity bill from 10 years ago. They just gave me their phone number and their home address while they were trying to look up their credit score. Now I've got their information. I can contact them and try to collect on that. I don't think it was a consumer-friendly product at all. I think it was like, it was dressed up and marketed as being, hey, now we're making credit equitable to everybody. You have a right to know your credit score. But in reality, it was just like some dude sitting in a call center that would get an email being like, yeah, Billy just looked up his MasterCard bill, and we know exactly where he lives right now, and we've got a cell phone number.
Huh.
That's what I think was going on with all that. FreeCreditReport.com.
Well,
I felt like there was probably also some sort of handshake agreement from the 1888 call collect people, because once cell phones came, they just had no space left on television. They had to fill that air with something.
Yeah. Yep. 1-800-COLLECT. What else was there? What was the one that you just said, Coley, where you can get a long distance call for up to 99 cents?
Yeah, I think it was. What was the one where he was like, "Hey, Bob Mary had a baby, eats a boy."
Oh yeah. Let's see. 187? No, that's Cars for Kids.
How dare you?
18.
What's the
10 10 220. 10 10 220. You remember that one?
Nah, all that's running through my head is fucking JG Wentworth 877K. That's all that's going there.
I think it was 10 10 220. That's how you get a long distance call for up to 20 minutes for 99 cents. Yeah, but
wow, what a scam.
That was fucking everywhere in the early 2000s, late 90s for sure. And also, any place that's selling credit repair services, stay very woke on that, because those are just debt collectors also, and they're just there to take your money. And they prey predominantly on poor people.
100%.
Yeah.
Are there still people doing that on college campuses? Billy, Mad Dog, all you young folks, are they still doing that where like people will try to sell you credit cards everywhere you turn?
I actually, you just unlocked a memory for me. In 6th or 7th grade, maybe, we had a teacher. We were talking about this. It was in like a social studies class, and he goes, when y'all get to college, they're going to be up and down like the main walkway trying to sell you credit cards, and somebody like Connor is going to be the first one to sign up for one, because they're going to offer you 2 football tickets, and he's going to sign up for a credit card that's going to fuck up your credit. I don't think I ever saw that at college. There were people like trying to pawn shit off on you all the time, like businesses and stuff, but never a credit card.
There's a credit card commercial on right now on the TV.
No, I remember that at my college campus. I was walking home from class one time, and my roommate was with me, and they had a MasterCard thing set up there, and he was like, "Oh shit, if you sign up for a credit card, they'll give you this Phillies Blunt T-shirt," and so he signed up for a MasterCard just to get a Phillies Blunt shirt. Now, I'm not totally looking down my nose at him, because I also signed up for like 8 MasterCards at Washington Redskins or football team training camps that I used to go to, and they'd have those stands set up there. I was like 13 years old, and I would sign up at the drop of a hat for a MasterCard if it meant that I got a Washington football team towel. And I probably had like 6 or 7 of those over the years. So yeah, they do try to prey on people in the moment making like impulsive decisions to sign up for one. So my best advice would be like, look and get a points card. See what credit card you can get that either gives you is connected to a frequent flyer account or can give you points or cash back. Just look it up. I'm sure that there's a lot of stuff online for people that don't have credit. Here's some good credit cards to sign up for. And then you just put everything, not everything, but you put certain repetitive purchases on that card every month, and you pay it off at the end of the month. Chicken and frog food. Yep. That's what you should do, Billy.
Yeah.
That's what you should do, Mad Dog. Oh, also, big reason that credit caught on in America is because of cars. Without cars, I don't think that credit would be, nearly as big of a deal, because when Henry came out with his Model T Ford, not a lot of people could afford it. Yeah, it was less expensive than some of the other stuff that was out there, but still it was a big ticket item, and you weren't going to sell it to most of America at that price point. So what General Motors did, they created GMAC, the General Motors Acceptance Corporation, which essentially would loan money out to people in order to buy their own product that they were selling at a lower interest rate. And so then, as cars caught on in America, they were probably the biggest ticket item besides a home that anybody would purchase. Credit became more and more available to everybody. That actually gives me a great idea. We should just sell we should start saying that our T-shirts are like $10,000, or you could pay $5 a year for the next 100 years on this shirt.
Payment plans.
Yeah,
That would be funny
like
as
I
hell,
actually think that there are some like companies out there would be smart to probably take the car like the pricing model for cars and just like give everybody Bobby Bonilla contracts to pay off in like much smaller denominations. Like what?
Well,
Like yeah, you can buy this sandwich for this $18 sandwich. I went to a deli the other day, got a sandwich. It was $18. It was worth it. It was delicious. But if they had said like, you can pay 49 cents a year for the next 50 years for this sandwich, I would think about it.
for sure.
You know, it's like really interesting about like the history of banking and why people want to lend money, because like,
Bruh,
yeah,
we could do a whole segment on
that's
banking,
kind of
'cause
what I
that
studied.
Shit, yeah. What see?
Yeah.
Well, shit. I don't know if you want to go into it or not. Real quick, I'm gonna let you pivot, but I had to get this off. The Model T4, the first one, it was $825, roughly 18 grand in today's money. But that, I just, well, there's my fact for the day. Go ahead, Billy.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
no, but
feels like actually a pretty fair price.
yeah, wages haven't
For the
grown.
first car ever, yeah.
Yeah.
Prices have gone up, but wages haven't grown in the same way. Money,
Okay,
money's just like-
Bernie, libtard.
Yeah, no, but dude, I mean, if you study it, money's like really like, you know, did this a lot in school. Like, money nowadays is not like, it's a concept. It's not a physical thing. And like dating back, like when they first started the market economy, when they were using stuff like, you know, beads or shells as a method of like value, it was really, you know, it was originally supposed to be representative of like something of value. So there should be as much money in the economy as there is assets of worth. So
It's called a fiat currency.
Yeah.
We live in a fiat
I
currency.
mean, if we want to get into the end of Bretton Woods in 1971, when they took it off the gold standard, like it's really crazy to look at that stuff. And, you know,
I love this.
Yeah.
Let's get every finance bro that listens to this podcast like super
Yeah.
mad at what they're hearing right now. Like, you guys are fucking this all up.
I almost was a finance bro.
You are a finance bro, just without
I was a finance bro my freshman
without
year.
the job. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I was a finance major going to school, and then I switched so I could work at Barstool.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Like when the reason banks lend money is that they actually lend more money than they actually have in the bank, so that when people pay interest payments, it grows that original money into more actual money. And like there's this concept of when they write in, it's called pen stroke money, where basically they write the money into your account and that's how it appears. That is how money is created.
Or
Like
through
yeah.
or through QE. Quantitative easement. You know anything about QE, Billy?
Is that when
Reserve.
the printer goes burr?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Printer go burr?
Yeah.
Printer go burr.
It's essentially QE is God telling all the banks, like, get your paper up, here you go.
So like even though banking sounds like pretty nerdy, like the history of banking and like, you know, how loaning money like caused progress and like, you know, created a lot of cool stuff. Is actually like, so for example, Vikings used to lend, like a very good example is like, let's say you were the second son of like a Viking lord and you weren't going to inherit the castle and you wanted to make a name for yourself. So you go to maybe your father or another jarl for a loan, and you literally go up in front of this like big chieftain and be like, I want to get a boat full of warriors, like I need to buy swords, and we're gonna go raid monasteries and
Yeah.
bring back like tons of coins and and riches and plunder. And then the dude just literally gives you a small chest of coins and says like, go, you know, buy all that stuff and then bring me back a certain amount of what you get, plus you got to repay me for all this stuff. And like that I found cool, and that sort of like is also what funded a lot of the expeditions to the New World. Like the
It's a plot of Succession is pretty much what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Like everybody being like, hey, Dad, trust me. Just give me a little bit of money. I'll make it worth your while.
yeah, it just also the Roanoke colony was the exact same thing, but it failed. It's an example of like a failed investment where, you know, some, I think it was like the East Indian Company, like, or the West Indian Company, like got a loan from a British bank to like set up a English colony in the New World, and like how banking sort of like fueled the progress of, you know, like exploration and innovation. So
do you think that billionaires back in that day, like, were building their own ships to go explore the New World on their own? Like Jeff Bezos is going into outer space. Elon Musk is like, hey, I want to go to Mars. I feel like that's a new thing. Back then, if you were rich, you were probably just comfortable with your brothel and your mead and your rich goose that would be roasted for you every day. You had a pretty good life back then. Didn't really go wanting for much.
yeah, I mean, and also the idea, like, for example, like Marco Polo, like he went off to find a new route in Asia, and what he ended up actually bringing back that was a huge innovation was that in China, in a certain kingdom that I don't remember the name of, they would use paper money, and they brought that back to Europe. And Marco Polo was like, why did you guys use paper money? And they were just like, simply like, you know, metal is too heavy to carry around. Like, you should just keep all your precious metals in one place and distribute paper money to represent it. And that's like how paper money got to Europe.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So the danger of inflation, though, when you're injecting more and more money into an economy, is that at some point the value of the dollar gets lower. To put it in NFL terms, it's like if Jerry Jones is paying so much money for his players that the value of the Cowboys decreases. So let's just say in the future, like, if there's no salary cap in the NFL and Jerry's just spending a shitload of money, or it's actually exactly what Dan Snyder was doing with the football team when he first got him. He's like, let's get Jeff George, let's get Bruce Smith, let's get all these old players that I used to love watching. And you spend so much money on the team and you get negative results because you have so much more money going through it, and the results aren't as good, that the value actually decreases of what you're pumping all this money into.
But then there's
So none of us, and this is not a slight to any of y'all, this is just how complicated this shit is actually. None of us are actually qualified to talk about this with any kind of depth because it's a really deep topic, right? And so I'm just gonna mention what I've learned, and me researching this shit a while back actually really let me know, it's like, I'm way out of my league here. But I was reading this book called The Deficit Myth. It's by Stephanie Kelton. Stephanie Kelton was an economic advisor for Bernie Sanders. And she's pro, when I think it was like $900 billion was given to the recession in 2008, when the housing market crashed. It was like a $900 billion stimulus package. She was like advocating like go in the trillions, like, and conservative conservative economists. I think like Friedman is like one of the most
he's a McDonald's guy.
Respect. Yeah. It's one of the most. What do you mean? Is he a McDonald's guy?
He's the McDonald's theory guy that like. Drop McDonald's real quick, and then super famous economist. So he's like more conservative, right? She has something called monetary money theory, which combats that and says if you live in a fiat currency system, you'll never grow broke because we write our own money. And they say, well, that what you said, they'll say, well, that'll cause inflation, right? And so I was just reading this excerpt in her book, and it was actually argued on the congressional floor where one of the people at the Federal Reserve, I think, was brought to Congress because the Federal Reserve sets the interest rates, right? Sets the interest rates for bank lending, right? And so when crash course, when the economy collapses and we're in what they call a recession, the Federal Reserve drops the interest rates to like zero, right? So that banks can lend at zero interest rate, that'll encourage people to get loans from banks, so that'll stimulate the economy, right? It moves money around. So when it happened, I think in 2008, they dropped it to zero, and they didn't bring it back up, I think, until like 2012, right? And they were actually on the congressional floor, and they were saying, was there any evidence of any inflation during that year? And they said no. And so they basically just kind of teeter with it, right? They kind of just teeter with it based on the theory that they have.
but there was no evidence that inflation actually grew in that amount of time. So they actually, it's like an ongoing debate with economists, like, does that inflation actually happen? Does it not? There's people that argue on both sides. I'm nowhere near versed enough on it. I just know I came across Stephanie Kelton. I read her book. I contacted her. We had some small talks about it. I recommend everybody reading the book because it does put it a little bit more in perspective from her, and she breaks it down brilliantly in her book. And I haven't read it for about, it's been like 6 months, so I totally forgot all the nuances in it. But it's a really good book and talks exactly about this and the relationship between the Fed, the banks, and credit, and all of that stuff. And she breaks it down to a really very simplistic way to look at it.
Well, basically, when they stopped the gold standard of the dollar, so that the dollar was not actually, pinned to a certain amount of gold, like how much is in the Federal Reserve, it gave them a lot more flexibility, and where they were able to control the market more because it wasn't pinned to gold, from what I understand, so that they could fuck around with these rates a little more to get to control where it's going. But the thing is, when they, the thing about inflation is it makes it easier to pay off debt. So, for example, if I owe PFT $3 and it's $3 has a certain amount of purchase power, like I can buy, a coffee, but then in a couple of years, because of financial policy, that $3 can only buy me half a coffee, but I'm making more money because of inflation, but I still only owe PFT $3, which is now worth less, assuming he doesn't charge too much interest.
Yeah. If you want to watch a good documentary, it's adjacent to what we're talking about. I recommend Panic, The Untold Story of the 2008 Financial Crisis. It's a Vice special report that was on HBO. Awesome movie. And it gets into some of this stuff in a way that makes it, it's like The Big Short is pretty easy to digest. I'd say something similar about this. Obviously, this is a documentary, not like a narrative story like The Big Short was. But it's based around the same principles, same causes, and how the government tried to fix everything, and how it's actually scary how close we came. And the entire story is about debt and credit, and it's crazy how close we came to utter collapse of our financial system. Very close, maybe 24 hours, 36 hours, a weekend. We were that close to banks not having cash, to ATMs not having cash, to people not being able to take out a loan or be able to get money. So it was almost utter fucking chaos back in 2008.
It's very hard to explain, but part of that had to do with the average household and individual having so much debt, be it credit card debt, having a mortgage on multiple properties. But all this money stuff is so actually abstract and out there, because you think that money is something physical and solid, and the value of something is just a little more concrete, when it really isn't at all. Which is something that just blows your mind when you really look into it.
It's extremely brittle. We're all very secure in something that's extremely brittle. We as soon as we all and this is what we were talking about when we had Buddy on, he was talking about cryptocurrency, right? Which is as soon as we all agree that the dollar is not worth what it is anymore, well, then we have to move on to something else. But right now, we just all agree on it, and it's just all of our collective agreements that says, yeah, this is how we rock it, which is fucking scary. It's just wild.
Yeah, and and credit is essentially just based around the idea that shit's going to be better tomorrow than it is today. Everybody that spends on credit, that's kind of what they're doing. It's oh yeah, I can use this because you know what, I'll be good. Give me a week. What does Kid Cudi say? I'll be fine once I make it. Yeah. I'll be good when I get it. I think that's the first time that I think I've ever recited a Kid Cudi lyric in my life. It probably showed, but yeah, credit is just straight up about the idea, optimism. You know what, I might not be able to afford this right now, but things will work out. I'm sure they will. Just give me, tell you what, give me that payday loan, and in 2 weeks, even though I still have the same job that I've had for the last 2 years, somehow I'll have enough money to pay all this shit off that I'm loaning from you guys right now. And don't get me started on payday lenders, because I honestly think that they should be murdered. I think the people that started the payday loan situation in America, like they have done more evil to some of the poorest people in America than almost anybody. It's absolutely fucking criminal what they did to like small towns in America and just took advantage of people that didn't have money. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Predatory loans are still thriving, and it's disgusting. But I think this American economy in general is predatory towards poor people as a whole, and I think that's why one of the most important things for people in poor neighborhoods is to have financial literacy, because and like once you understand the basics of it, you understand how predatory these people are and how much bullshit consumerism in general as a whole is. Like you don't like. I mean, think about it, dog. Like for whatever stupid fucking reason, like when you get married, it's standard practice in our culture that you have to spend 1/3 of your salary on a diamond ring. Like love is equated with diamonds. Status is created with diamonds and gold. All of this dumbass shit, and it's just consumerism, and that's what is crippling poor people. Like poor people spend more money than rich people, which is wild.
A little life hack: if you're thinking about getting married, ask your fiance or ask your boyfriend or girlfriend. Actually, no, this is more advice to the fellas. If you're thinking about getting married, just have a nice little romantic movie night with your girlfriend. Pop on Blood Diamond, and then watch that. And then at the end be like, oh, that really gave us a lot to think about when it comes to like the whole materialistic nature of purchasing diamonds, where they come from. And then she'll be like, you know what? I don't need a diamond. Like maybe my birthstone or something like that. And you'll be like, good idea. Good idea, honey.
And then pop on about middle part of this episode of this podcast, right? And talk about how marriage originally was constructed so that the woman was viewed as property, right? In a barter with land and men. So it's really demeaning for women to get married if you really break it down.
Really, and then if you try to break up, then you're going to have her dad coming to collect his share of the hotel that you helped to build. Sorry, I've just been watching.
But what happens?
Season 1 of The Sopranos.
What happens?
Well, it's like modern marriage is like how players have taken control of the NBA. Like the teams used to be the dads exchanging chattel, but now the women are out here on their own negotiating for how big of a rock.
That's exactly
making super teams and shit.
What happens?
Yeah. They'll break up with you if the guy down the street moves and he's got a nicer car. In my day, there was loyalty.
What happens? Yeah. What happens if you watch Blood Diamond?
Cheats on you a little bit.
What happens if after you watch Blood Diamond, she just turns to you in a Rhodesian accent, goes, "Where's the diamond?"
I need a new wife.
Where is the diamond?
Yeah. All right. So don't get married. Actually, get married. Marriage is cool. If you want to get married, get married.
It's just a contractual agreement that, like, so this is the one thing I agree with libertarians about, right? Libertarians are anti, like, keep the state out of my private life. There is no reason that the state of New Hampshire or wherever the fuck you live should be involved in your agreement with the person that you love. There are some tax benefits, but that is, like I said, it's all contractually agreed upon, and you can sort all that shit out with any NDA. So it's like I don't see the point in it, unless the only I will concede, if you're religious and you believe that Jesus is waiting on you in the afterlife, more power to you. There's nothing I can say to convince you that that's not a holy union with the three of y'all, you, your spouse, and the Lord. So that I can't box with God. So like if that's the reason why you're doing it, it makes sense to me. I mean, it don't make sense, but it makes sense to me.
If you tell God, hey God, I need a quick 30.
shoot me a 30, my G, my big G.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, if you're in love with somebody, you want to spend the rest of your life with them, are you going to be like, hey, all right, let me go check with the mayor real quick, see if he's cool with that? There's no like place for government in that, except, you know, if you want to like leave money to somebody or insurance benefits if you die and they get to collect that. I guess that
you can write all that up in your will. You can write all that up in your will.
Yeah. So yeah, you can do that from a legal aspect. I agree. I don't think that the state really needs to be involved.
I honestly think marriage is going to go away within the next, like, I don't say go away, but it's gonna be like in the 10-20% out, like in the next 50 years. Because like already like what I think I'm a millennial, so below me is what, Gen X,
Gen
Gen
Z.
Z.
Gen Z. Yeah, so like they're already like bucking monogamy, bucking marriage, because they just don't see the point. Like it was just like tradition. Like my mother, for example, right? She was born in 59, right? She was she married, she divorced my father, but she married this other dude who's a PhD geneticist, super dope dude, put me on a lot of science shit that I'm in love with. But he was like, I'm not, for the same reasons. He's like, it's just so illogical for me to get married. There's no point in me getting married. And I used to ask my mom, like, why do you want to get married? Like, what's the point? She was like, I just don't want to be a 50-year-old girlfriend. I'm like, but if y'all are still together, he's committed to you. Like, what is the point? She's like, I want to be a wife. And I'm like, yo, that's residual like misogyny, and you're like, it's just roll over misogyny. There's no other. She couldn't give me a reason other than I want to be a wife.
Did you mansplain misogyny to your mom?
I did. I absolutely did. I absolutely did. But she agreed though. She was like, "You're not wrong," because like it's just something that I have to feel. But it's like that shit's going away with this younger generation and my generation as well. But the younger generation more so. It's like they're like, "Fuck, for what? Like, what's the point?" There's no prestige. Like when you walk in, like saying this is my girl or saying this is my wife, it's pretty much the same nowadays. So it's like.
There's one reason I'm kind of like down with holidays and like milestone events. It's just like you kind of do at some point like need a reason to celebrate.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, celebrating commitment to each other. I think
or like
that's
looking forward to something.
That's why, as an atheist, I'm probably the biggest fucking Christmas celebrator there is, bro. I love that shit.
I mean, I'm down with that, but like, for example, like Thanksgiving's like one of my favorite holidays. Like,
I bet it is, you racist prick.
Oh, fuck.
Nah, just playing with you. I'm not playing with you.
No, but like, what I really like about it is I like, oh, it's like family cooking and everyone's just vibing around. Like, it's not
I agree with
football.
1,000%.
Yeah, football. Like, it's just a lot of good memories around Thanksgiving.
But I also agree that, I also think that like, it's, like for a wedding, like we don't have to get married by the state of whatever, right? We could just gather all of it, like, yo, we're celebrating life together and this is our get together. I will go to that shit way before I'll go to. I started boycotting weddings with my boys. I just started because I'm like, my nigga, I'm not going to your wedding. I just don't want to be the nigga 30 years from now. I told you, fam.
No, Arian.
But I hope it works out. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound like a bitter. Like, I hope you guys stay in love with your rings on your
Arian
fingers
hates
forever.
dogs and love. Put it on the board.
I do think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Coley.
Well, I was gonna say I do think us doing an episode on the De Beers and like diamonds in general and like how that all came about. Probably it might not be big enough for a full episode, but there's something there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, as the only woman in this room, I will say that like growing up, weddings are kind of like ingrained in how, like, you know, you're always like when you grow up, you're like, oh, like thinking about your wedding day. I've never been like that. I want to get married, like still, like that's still ingrained in me, but I've never been the type where it's like, oh, I know, like girls will literally be like, I have my whole entire wedding planned out already, and it's like that is not.
That's weird.
Yeah. I don't get how people think like that, like where they're like,
but
okay.
You've definitely thought about yourself in a wedding dress before.
Yeah, but like there are girls, like some of my best friends know exactly what kind of wedding dress they want. They know where they want to get married. They know what age range they want to get married in. Like,
see,
that
you know what's so
stresses
weird
me
about
out.
that to me? You know what's so weird about that to me is like, so when they court, right? When they're courting,
yeah,
like they're like, is he can he stand at the altar with me? Like dudes don't really necessarily think like that for the most part. Like I've never once started dating women like, can I stand at the altar with you? It's like
that's
almost predatory. It's almost predatory.
No, now that I'm like out of college, people will do that. Like in college it was like kind of different, but like I mean now people will be like, oh, like date to marry. It's like, dude, I'm 22. Like,
yeah, a lot of people date to have the pinnacle of their life is like the party that they're going to have on the day where they get married.
Like
I think that's a pretty unhealthy way to look at a long-term relationship, because by definition you're saying it's going to be over right after it starts. Like it's all downhill from our peak, which is our first day of getting married together.
Yeah.
That's like a very cynical way of looking at it. It's just a fun day. Like,
Right.
There is the point though with marriage, not the religious or state aspect, that growing up in a household with two loving parents that like demonstrate a healthy relationship is like very beneficial for kids growing up.
yeah.
Right.
I think we're all in agreement that love
I
is
agree with
good.
that.
Yeah.
But
And-
there's a spin zone if you guys are fighting all the time in front of your kids, like it could also fuck them up.
But
Right.
you can be married and fight in front of your kids all the time, and you can
Yeah.
be not married
But you-
and in just like a partnership and
Yeah,
be
I think
the most loving
the point
parent
is,
ever.
I think my point is like you don't have to be married to have a loving relationship.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
It's, it's not contingent.
I think the only reason, so like I said, I still want to be married, and I still want to I also am a self-proclaimed narcissist, and I want to have a whole day like dedicated to me. But but like I think nowadays you can live a full life with someone else and not be like government mandated married. I think the only reason that you would have to be married nowadays is if you were, well, and now people I know are getting married, and that stresses me, that are my age. Like, imagine Billy or I being married right now. Like, that's insane.
It's
But,
too young. Bro.
yeah.
It's 20. I
But like 50
vividly
years
remember,
ago,
Well,
50 years ago, if I was 22 and not married, people would be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
The thing is, like, you
When
might
my
be
grandma
dead
got
by
married at
29.
What?
You might be dead by 29.
Right,
That's what-
exactly. That's also the same. Like, yeah, like my grandparents got married when they were 20.
I think that was a
Yeah.
threat, Billy.
What?
That sounded like a threat.
What?
You might be dead when you're 29.
Well, that's why marriage was so early.
Yeah, it's because
Yeah.
they
You
were
could
it was
be
just
dead.
a short life. Like,
Well,
but like,
and it was also like the only people you knew grew up in a mile radius from where you were born.
Yeah.
right,
There weren't as many people to meet. You kind of had a good idea
of like who
were
you wanted to be with.
by, like
That's-
fourth grade.
Yeah,
There's this thing I was reading where like overseas, like the way they even view monogamy is not how we view it. Like, so they don't, like, relationship wise, they don't even, monogamy is not as big a thing as we think it is.
And if you-
I actually think monogamy is unnatural.
All right. We're getting into this is powerful divorced energy coming from Arian for the last like 20 minutes.
No. I should have prefaced it with, I want a fully committed relationship. I don't want to get married, but I just think it's it's something you have to fight, right? So that's why I feel like it's an unnatural thing. It's like you have to fight it. Like you have to think about it. You have to fight it, and you have to work towards a healthy, loving relationship, and that takes work. It sacrifices discipline, right? But you're fighting your natural urge to want to procreate.
right.
The good news is if you get married to somebody with a shitty credit score and you've got a good credit score, it doesn't affect your credit as long as you don't. But then she's going to be like, hey, can you co-sign on this loan for me, Arian? And then it's going to be, okay, all right. And then guess what? Now your credit's a little bit fucked up. So,
Damn.
yeah,
I
that's tough.
The ultimate finesse.
I also think that the only reason that, like, and again, if you're married and you're 22 and you're listening to this, please DM us and tell me why. But I also think that a big reason that people my age get married, Big T, you can insert your opinion on this, is because they're extremely religious and want to have sex, and they have to wait till marriage.
That does happen occasionally.
I think it happens a lot.
So horny, you're just like, fuck it, let's get hitched.
Yeah.
Yeah, like pretty much like they're like, well, might as well get married.
That's like a chicken and the egg scenario, because it's like the statistics is like people who wait for marriage to have sex end up having longer monogamous longer marriages, and like quote unquote happier marriages. If that's true, is it chicken or the egg scenario? But like there's a bunch of studies about like all that type of stuff.
But then I've also seen a lot where it's like we waited to have sex until marriage, and I absolutely hate sex.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Take
Yeah,
that
'cause
as an out of context drop to play again in the future, Avery. I hate sex. Yeah, that would suck if you're like, I can't wait to start, like, let's get to fucking, and you're like, wait, the dick goes in here? No, thank you. That's gross. Like,
I just think about like my first experience, right? And I was like, practice safe sex, do what you gotta do. But my first experience, bro, I was in and out of there in like 7 to 10 seconds. I had no idea. And so, like, can you imagine like this buildup for the woman, like for her entire life, and then like 7 seconds later, it's like, damn, that was it.
yeah,
Spin zone. How
Did you just learn this term?
No.
It's been something like
Hypothetically.
8 times on this.
I know birth control has become so effective, and everyone is not getting married and not really participating in monogamous relationships. The only people who end up having children are people who still like marriage, and marriage just keeps on going, and that's why it's been happening. Because people grow up in married households. Huh.
I guess so. I mean, maybe you learn everything from somebody.
Yeah.
Nature versus nurture. All right. Well, I feel like we've talked about credit. I feel like we've talked about a lot of other stuff. Do we have any? We have any
Do you wanna do
voicemails?
voicemails?
Yeah, we can do some voice. Oh,
Wait,
breaking news. Alex Jones is trending on Twitter right now.
Yeah. It's
Oh, yeah.
Because
Good things.
he's roasting former President Trump
He already
for the vaccine stuff. So like we originally reported on Macrodosing, Donald Trump is now deep state and no longer MAGA. Donald Trump is anti-Trump.
Alex Jones went off on Trump when he bombed Syria.
Yeah.
That's when he was like, "We thought you were different."
Yeah. He said maybe Trump's actually a dumbass. That's what Alex Jones said. Hate it when mom and dad fight.
All right.
Hate it when mom and dad fight. Yo, seriously, that would be a dope ass shirt if like we all just had like a quotable that we picked from everybody and put it on a shirt. Just everybody have like a dope quote. That would be fun.
All right, you want to do voicemails?
Yeah, let's do it.
The listener voicemails are brought to you by our great friends over at NHTSA. 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 Guess what time of year it is? It's time to remind you guys that if you drive sober, you won't get pulled over. You have two options. Either drive sober or you get pulled over. It's pretty simple stuff. The National Highway Safety Traffic Administration wants you to know that this Labor Day weekend, the U.S. Department of Transportation's National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is working together with law enforcement community to decrease impaired driving. NHTSA and local law enforcement are working tirelessly trying to spread the word about the dangers of drunk driving and to remind you guys, if you plan to drink, plan ahead for a sober driver. Drive sober or get pulled over. It's simple. These expanded efforts to protect against impaired driving will be conducted in a fair and equitable way during the 2019 Labor Day holiday period. That would be the Friday at 6 p.m. through 6 a.m. on the Tuesday after Labor Day. 38% of fatalities and traffic crashes involved a drunk driver. Don't hurt anybody. Don't hurt yourself. I want everybody to be safe out there over Labor Day. Labor Day is a weekend of celebrating, of relaxing, of spending time with family and friends. Among drivers between the ages of 18 and 34 who were killed in crashes over Labor Day in 2019, 46% of those drivers were drunk with BACs of 0.08 or higher. Just don't drive drunk, guys. It's simple. It's a very easy decision that you can make, and it's the right decision to make, not only for others, but also for yourselves. Drive sober or get pulled over. If you're buzzed, you shouldn't be behind the wheel of a car. There's so many options right now for how you can get sober ride places. There's no excuse to be driving drunk. Be safe, drive sober, or get pulled over. For more information, visit trafficysafetymmarketing.gov/getmaterials. Check it out. Drive sober or get pulled over.
All right, here we go.
Hey guys, it's Brent from Texas. I had a two-part question. So first off, I wanted to know if you could maybe get things set up with Billy and Big T to just absolutely fight it out on show. I'd love to see that unfold on YouTube. And the second question is, if the U.S. government collapsed, what country move to and why? Thank y'all so much. Love the show.
Okay, two good questions. As for the first part of it, I think get a slap box off between Billy and Big T.
I won't legitimize Billy by fighting him.
Wow. Them's fighting words.
I won't give him the satisfaction.
I was feeling
You
bad
ain't even worth
for.
it, no.
I was feeling bad for making fun of Big T earlier. I would like to actually apologize. I'm sorry.
It was too late. It was too late. I
now,
can't accept
now
it
Big
now.
T, I felt like that was a genuine apology from Billy. The first
I
ones were
agree.
bullshit, and that was just Billy trying to get out of trouble.
But see, now there's no way to tell.
I know.
I think that one- I
I've
know
been drinking
Billy.
green tea all day. I was a little amped. And I went after Quigs. I actually would like to apologize to everyone.
Yeah, and apologize to the listeners.
I'd like to apologize to you guys, the Macrodosians.
Okay.
All right. Oh, wait. I think Big T just accepted on behalf of the Macrodosians.
Well, I appreciate that he would apologize to them.
Okay.
I'm apologizing to you.
No,
I know.
This works.
I know. I accept your apology.
All right.
An
There you
apology
go.
is
Look
a
at
form
that.
of debt.
Building bridges. But in the future, yeah, we'll have to get them to Slapbox. I think that would be fun. At some point. At some point.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, I would 100% slap the shit out of you.
Okay. It's a two-way street, brother.
Yep, that's the idea.
That's what
No,
I'm
I actually
saying,
like I slapbox like a lot.
Billy's a professional
Like
slapboxer.
no, like seriously, like football camps when you had your own like little dorm room and everyone would just be like,
Big T will beat the dog shit out of you, Billy.
okay,
He's bigger
That's
than
what
you,
it is.
Billy. Billy only respects people that like. There's nothing more that Billy respects than just mass in general. He thinks that if somebody's bigger,
dude,
they will win
honestly,
the fight. Big T is taller than you.
I will promise
he
you
weighs
this.
more than you.
I will
He gotta
promise you
reach.
this.
Yep.
I would.
no,
It
he
would
has
be the hardest I've ever slapped anything in my life.
no.
I would
Big
give
T,
you.
I'm seriously like slap boxing like is something I've done a lot. I have like videos on my phone of me like slap boxing like.
Oh, let's see it. You got videos on your phone. Okay, what we might have to do is
I have
you know
videos
Send 'em in
on
the
my
group
phone.
chat.
You know the Russian sport where they just like stand across from each other and they just
And
take
slap
turns
it.
slapping each other?
Yeah.
That's what we'll have to do.
Unfortunately, all of my like locker room slap boxes, like everyone had cell phones, so like there's plenty of slap boxing videos. I don't think there's one recorded I've lost.
Okay, well, can I see it?
I'm gonna find.
So are you telling me you undefeated in slapbox?
I am undefeated in slap boxing.
Mike
I can-
I don't trust someone who claims they've never lost a fight.
Well, no, I've
That
lost
means that, yeah,
fights.
you were probably
I've
fighting
never-
like the kickers and the punters.
No, I wasn't.
No, he's saying he's Mayweather of the slapbox.
I'm pretty good at slap boxing.
Okay.
Like that is one of those things where it's like,
I said we have a big fucking macrodosing pot, you know what I mean? And we just put
Yeah.
we put it in, and whoever
No, but
wins takes the pot. I'm putting my hat in Big Tilly, I'm Big T's corner.
Big T.
That's why you're my guy.
So while Billy's looking up the slap boxing footage,
I don't know why I like
we'll answer
literally
the other
like,
question.
have boxed.
All
Like,
right,
I don't know why.
Billy, you're supposed to be looking up.
like I don't like.
All right, there you go.
Anyway.
Yeah, keep searching.
I beat Jose Canseco.
I got a slap box, Big T.
So what country would you move to? I think I would go to Ecuador.
I'd go deeper in the country.
Okay, so you become more American.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this land's primed for taking over. Why do you go out?
He would make up a new country called like Extra America.
Yeah, no, just I mean, literally, this
America squared.
like I don't think this country could ever actually collapse.
Oh boy,
That sounds stupid.
famous last
Old
words.
takes exposed.
No, but think about it, like literally, no, but seriously, like this is what would happen. It would be exactly like
Fam,
Afghanistan.
this country's young as hell. Like,
I know, but
Hang
let's
on,
no,
it'd
but
be
our
like what?
infrastructure, it would be exactly like how Afghanistan went. All the cities would collapse into turmoil. You have all these militia groups come from rural areas and retake.
Confederate flag
Yeah,
wielding.
I mean, it would literally be like what exactly they'd come and secure the cities. It would be terrible what would happen because it would get real bad, like collapse civilization stuff, like probably like stuff you saw in Katrina.
So are you saying it would be like the insurrection, but just everywhere?
Well, it would be slow.
Bro. Stuff you saw in Katrina?
Well, that was like the closest thing. Like
Are you talking about floods?
no, I'm saying like breakdown of society.
when there's no like transportation, no electricity.
Like, yeah, I mean, if that's what we're talking, like there needs.
Infrastructure breakdown.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Okay,
because
okay, I got
if like the United States were to collapse, right? Like, you'd have, like,
Well, there would definitely be competing
There'd be no
bands
city-
of militias. Yeah.
yeah,
There'd be no city buses running for sure.
No.
right. But like that sort of like, like no order, no law and order. That would be probably where
Yeah, that's
this
what I thought you were
hypothetical. We
doing.
got to talk about this hypothetical question, like what exactly is going
It'd
on.
be great to see CNN journalists like tweeting at the city, being like, "The subway's not running. What's going on?" And they're like, "Well, I'm fresh out of ideas on how I
Like-
can solve this."
Yeah,
Right.
I took it as like America became like you couldn't live here at all. Not that
Yeah.
like
Well, if it
plant my flag and now this is McMahon land.
Billy's
Yeah.
like, "Well, actually, I reject the premise of your question."
no, but if America were to collapse,
there would be no America,
Yeah.
new country.
So Billy,
holla at your
just
boy.
answer the question. Like outside of the United States, where would you roll?
I can't get the idea of America
Okay, yeah,
collapsing.
okay.
Because that would mean that literally the whole world would collapse.
Billy would start another
What a
America.
fucking bro! What a bro!
No, it's not.
I can't.
No, but if the U.S. dollar, like we just talked about this, the U.S. dollar is backed by the U.S. government, and it's like only has value. if
Billy,
the
shut
US
the fuck up, man. It's a hypothetical.
Yeah.
my
Okay, I'm
dog.
sorry. Fuck.
The dude wants to just know what tropic island would you sip on. That's all he's asking. Man, you over here fucking, man, I don't know, man. If you think about the flag waving and fire in the background, I just can't.
I can't even imagine like no bald eagles. I don't want to. I would kill myself because America's just.
No, it's not that. It's just like
Going down, I'm the last guy on the Titanic.
there
That's me.
probably wouldn't be anywhere else that would.
He's playing the fucking fiddle on the Titanic.
No, but it's like if America goes down, the rest of there isn't another option.
Man, anyway, bro, I'm going to Bora Bora, bro. I don't know if is that a country? I have no clue, but that's in my mind. I'm going to Bora Bora.
For me, the easiest to get to, like if it was something like it had to be fast, I could get to Canada within like 3 hours, but that seems pretty boring.
Yeah, I was going to say Canada, but that's boring.
Canada might be a buy low situation though, because with climate change, Toronto is going to be like the next Miami. Like
Yeah.
Newfoundland is going to be a paradise. Buffalo, New York might be the like most like beautiful
That's
climate
Texas now.
in the
San
world.
Diego.
Yeah. So yeah, I could see Canada.
But I think probably Netherlands. I like it over there.
I'd say Ireland, maybe?
Yeah,
Or like
Ireland's nice.
Scotland.
Netherlands okay. Netherlands is actually a lot of fun, but just too many bicycles everywhere. It's dangerous, man.
It's too many bicycles because it's all like there are no hills. It's all flat, which I very much appreciate.
It's dangerous just trying to walk across the street. You don't know which direction you're looking. Like if I spent a week over in Netherlands, I'm sure I would get smoked by one bike at least.
Oh yeah.
Like, what country is the least... Like, I wouldn't want to go to, like, Russia. Like, I wouldn't want to go to one of our enemies. But, like, what country would be, like, the least reliable on American products? So, like, would get least affected by the United States breaking down. That's how I'm looking at it.
Canada will get so many refugees.
Well, yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's, like... Well, like, Canada...
China?
China probably, yeah.
Yeah, but I would also, like... I hate to pull this card, but I would also like to go to somewhere that speaks English.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. It would, but
What about Italy?
Italy speaks Italian.
But I also feel like... Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
But I also feel like a lot of Italians speak English.
I just thought that like in Italy maybe they'd all just have the accent. Be like, hey, what the fuck is going on?
So it turns out the fuckers actually speak another language.
Americans, they eat the pizza. I'm just a little perverted.
bro, hey, your tweet about that shit had me, bro. I literally laughed out loud. He was like, "Hey, what did you say? I'm groping here. I'm groping over here."
Groping here, fucking Cuomo. God damn it.
That's only
Cuomo.
around Lake Como,
Yeah,
northern
real wet.
Italy. It's real wet.
real wet. Yeah, I think China would probably be a good place to go. I want to set
What about
one thing straight
Japan?
about China. I have no
love
quarrel with the Chinese people at all. When you hear me talking about like the President Xi, that's another thing entirely. I love the Chinese people. I don't like their I think that they deserve better than President Xi over there. I also think that Tibet should be free, and that's something that we took our eye off the ball with Tibet. We had concerts for him. Rage Against the Machine was talking about free Tibet. Brad Pitt was acting in Tibet movies, all in like the late 90s. And then people just stopped talking about Tibet. Can we get Tibet to be free already? What the fuck?
Free Britney and free Tibet.
Yes.
And
Tibet first, then white woman.
Tibet
Well,
first.
Britney's like kind of on her way to being free.
And the-
So she's like...
Who
Hold on. Before I joke about that, I have no idea what happened with Britney Spears. They
Oh
said
my-
free Britney. Is she actually captive? Or
Arian, she
I
is
conservatorship.
getting the short end of the fucking stick right now. She was in a conservatorship with her father.
You know what? I was telling Donnie this over the weekend.
what is that?
Pup Punk should do a song. You know that song "She" by Green Day? We should do a cover of that, except it's all about President Xi from China, and just gas him up. It should be a very pro Xi song, just so that we can maybe get like some of that sweet propaganda money from the Chinese government. Get some of that LeBron James money flowing in. Everybody's happy at that point. Just file that one away. Yeah. Free Tibet.
Ooh, that's not how you're gonna get that money.
No, don't listen to this podcast, Mr. Shi. But yeah, I took Ecuador just because I love the Galapagos Islands, and you also have the rainforest there. It's a very
we talked about you on the last episode. Because for some reason evolution came up. I don't know why, but that's where Darwin really had the epiphany, the aha moment of like, oh shit evolves.
Yeah. It's one of the coolest places on the planet, and the rainforest is cool. It's protected by mountains too, so I feel like it's relatively secure.
Were you talking stoned ape theory?
Yeah.
We
mentioned that as well.
You'd kind of be fucked in the Galapagos.
Why?
Because they literally import everything to the isolated island.
They don't import everything though. They've got stuff on the island that they can. It's got some of the best fishing in the world. It's got ceviche.
Yeah, but you couldn't be self-sufficient.
Why? Why can't I eat fish? Why can't I eat grouper all day long? Why can't I eat redfish and snapper?
With American society collapsed and imports shut down, how are you gonna be self-sufficient?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, if you go inland and work as the pioneers.
So
did.
What does that mean? Are you going to like Kansas?
He's just gonna.
No, we're going deep.
Billy's gonna go
Like,
bow hunting all day. I think.
What is
Kansas is like the center of America.
Yeah,
Like,
what-
No,
How
not
can you
Kansas.
How are you going
There's
deeper?
places
Are you going to that place you went to that was like the farthest from a McDonald's?
Nope.
Billy's gonna get
Maybe.
smoked by a tornado.
Do you have like a bunker somewhere? You don't want to give away the location? Where would you go, bro?
Hey man, my bunker's my bunker.
Okay. You know
Billy's
what?
gone in a week.
One of those tortoises, the giant tortoises that they have in the Galapagos, I just flip one of those on its back, and guess what? That's meat for probably a
Yeah.
year. Those things are heavy as shit. They're like 500 pounds.
Well, that's what Captain Cook and Darwin did, and almost ate them all to extinction.
yeah, because they were probably tasty as fuck.
Or they just had nothing else to eat.
All right, next
on
voicemail.
the-
What's up, everyone? Love the podcast. This is Alex from San Diego, and my question is, if at the end of your life you got to see one life statistic, like total distance walked, beers drank, wings eaten, anything, what would each of yours be? Love the pod. Keep it up.
That's a great question.
That is a good question.
Gotta be Chick-fil-A sandwiches.
It's got to be.
I
would be mine.
would want to see that for you as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would be
Arian's,
curious. to
Arian's
know.
would be the amount of sandwiches that Big T has eaten in his life.
I think mine would be alcohol consumed. Yeah.
I think mine would be people that have smiled to something that I've created.
You just got deep as fuck
Yeah.
right now.
It's a legit question.
That's
Yeah,
so
it's
cute. I've smiled by your creations.
I've smiled by your creations too, Arian. I think that'd be cool. Like to see if you could try to quantify happiness spread during this brief fleeting moment that we have on Earth. I think
You know
that's,
what?
that's what would be
taking my back. I'm stealing yours.
cool. Okay. Yeah.
I love it.
It's
That
a
was
good one.
amazing.
It's a good one.
a great one.
Either
That's a
that
great
or the amount of blowjobs I've had. So I don't know.
I was gonna say amount of times I've used the toilet.
Yeah.
Love to see that stat.
Like number 1, number 2, both
Yeah,
combined stats.
yeah.
So I think it's like we spend like 7 years of our life on average in a bathroom somehow, somewhere. That's insane when you think about it.
That's not true. There's no chance that's true.
I'd look it up. I could be
No, that
wrong.
makes sense.
7 years in a bathroom?
Think about
it. Showers, shits, pee,
you.
whatever else you do to makeup, all that shit.
Think
Like,
about how.
But that would be like, so
How
let's
much
say you live
showering?
70 years, that's 10%, so that's 2.5 hours a day.
Yeah,
That's not right.
no. But think about how long you are.
yes, it is.
Think about how long you're in a bathroom in a day.
Okay, I'm thinking right now. I'll
'cause-
take one shit,
20 minutes.
20 minutes tops usually.
Oh, I was saying 20 minutes total.
Oh no, like I've taken because I'll
Do you
get on
shower,
my
fam?
phone.
Yeah, that's 15
Shout-
of it.
Showering, shitting,
So,
pissing.
wait, how
think
much-
about the quick pisses.
No
How fast
way.
do you shit?
I will say in relation to like when I'm on PlayStation with my friends and like I'm gonna go shit, it takes so much longer than it takes me to shit. So I think I shit pretty quickly.
That's
Okay, give
prey
me an
mentality.
estimate.
3 minutes.
3 minutes in and out to shit?
Yeah.
You must not wipe very
That's
well.
us big
No,
cap.
no.
Oh,
I
that's
wipe
huge
exceptionally
cap.
well.
There we go.
That's herbivore mentality.
That's
my shirt.
That's shit before predators get you.
That's our cap of the day right there from Arian.
100%.
I
I
agree.
promise. I'll time it next time.
I agree. I don't think you're in and you're out in 3 minutes.
yes.
So are you like out of breath? Is this like a
I'll
cardio
time it.
exercise?
I'll time it.
Including the wipe and all that?
The next shit I
You
take
don't-
from the moment I step in the bathroom, the moment I step out, I will time it.
All right. Maybe you're a very efficient shitter. I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah,
what
I'm
are
on the cap.
like? I'm not dicking around on my phone or anything.
Why not?
I am. What do you mean?
Yeah.
That
If
is one of the
my
most
life-
peaceful parts of my day.
I don't want to. Yeah, I have no reason to be in there any longer than necessary. So like,
Oh,
I'm-
that's serial killer vibes to me right there, Big T. You just go in the bathroom and just stare at the wall.
Just straight ahead.
yeah.
That's sus.
Big T. People have been like reading newspapers.
If I
in
have
there.
my phone on me, I'll look at it, but like I'm not spending any additional time in there otherwise.
I think maybe you need to
Man.
start. I think maybe it would relax you a little
It's
bit.
so calming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a perfect time to meditate.
My
I don't know, man.
legs are numb after 90% of shits I take
Yep.
from how long I sat there.
That's
get
how
the
you know it
ring.
was a good exercise.
Speaking of which, not a promo, but I recommend for everybody. Billy, you'd like this, but the squatty potty. The squatty potty is amazing because we were not the way toilets are designed. We're not actually designed to shit like that. The way our intestines and all that is set up, we were actually made to like squat down on the ground, and so the toilets that we sit on is actually restricting the fecal matter from coming out. But the squatty potty lifts your knees up and puts you in that position where it's more natural for your body to excrete feces.
All right.
In a lot of countries, they don't actually have seats. They just have the bathrooms on the floor.
Not only the squatty potty, you gotta have a bidet too. You gotta have the 1-2 combo.
I'm not on the board.
How is
with
that sus? Come on, man.
I didn't say it was sus.
No, Billy did. Billy. did.
Oh, Billy said it was sus.
Yeah. You'll say it's sus until you
No,
try
I'm
it.
joking.
By the way, instead of saying sus, the new thing is you say pause instead.
That's not new.
That's actually,
I don't know if that's
the old thing.
I
That's
just learned it from Benny the Butcher and his crew.
That doesn't surprise me.
Pause was probably like 2000s.
That was pre-sus?
Maybe even before.
That was
maybe
that was big.
before.
That was big Cameron bringing that to the world. Literature, linguistics.
Damn. I like Cameron too. I would feel ashamed that I didn't know that. Because Big Cat would be like, he'd step up to the mic and he'd be like, "It makes my dick hard," as one of his lyrics. And then everybody in the engineering room would be like, "Pause."
Pause.
All right, just pretend like it's brand new again. All right, just for me.
Yeah, bring it back.
All right, I'm bringing back pause. Anybody,
Honestly, no, we should.
anyone else have anything to add?
It's a little homophobic and also it's been around. It never left, by the way.
Okay, never left,
Yeah.
and it's homophobic.
Yeah,
All right,
like-
disavow pause.
I say it like ironically
Yeah.
because that's what people say to bidets.
Mhm.
But like I mean no offense to anybody.
Gotcha.
Sorry if
Yes.
I offend anybody.
I think that we're on the record as being a very inclusive podcast, but we actually probably make fun of straight people more than anything.
To be fair, they're a way easier target.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So was that a bidet joke?
No, I feel like that's probably why I haven't used one. I feel like my aim would be terrible.
Yep. Yeah, mine too. All right. So wait, do we have another one? What was the question on that one?
What you'd want to know at the end.
Oh,
The
Yeah,
stat.
Billy, did you have your stat?
That I want to put up.
How much?
Slap fights one.
How much? Yeah, slap fights one. How much total weight have I lifted?
No, I don't know. Something cool.
You can get really specific. You could be like, how many total points have I gained at Dave & Buster's?
How much do my frogs love me back?
How much like people like the impact they have on people's lives.
Okay.
Oh, fuck off,
Like-
Billy. He just said
Stealing
that.
mine. He's stealing mine.
No, like
But he didn't say it. You got to give him the credit if you're going to take it. You just said that.
I think like the amount. What about the amount of force that you exerted on Jose Canseco's head,
yeah,
so you could
Perfect.
prove to people like, look, I landed a couple shots on him.
I did.
Yeah, you did. And that's why I'm saying if you had that stat, you could prove it.
I don't know. This is a weird stat.
Yeah.
The chillest ever.
The chill.
Like to be as chill as you can.
Try to quantify chillness.
Yeah.
Like,
How-
when is the chillest you ever were in your lifetime?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about cumulative chillness?
A cumulative chillness.
How chill was this, bro?
I don't know.
All right.
When I was young, I thought like when you die, God would like review your life like game film. Like he sits you down and be like, okay, well, what was you thinking right here? And you just that'd be cool.
Yeah, he's got like a laser pointer on the film. Avery and Mad Dog, what do you guys say?
Oh, I said time spent on the toilet.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yep.
I mean, kind of going off of yours, I would like how many times I made people laugh, I think. Oh. Or like if we're being like more quantifiable or whatever, but I would want to know how much time total I spent in the bathroom, because I did this thing in my childhood home where, like, this was when I was in like high school. Like, this is really weird, but I would come home from gymnastics practice and I would lay on my bathroom floor. Don't tell me how gross it is, I know. I would lay on my bathroom floor for like an hour and just stare at my phone, just contemplate things, like 3 times a week. So I'd really want to know how much like overall time I spent compared to the average, like how much compared to like Speedy Big T over here.
That
like I take my sweet. If I'm in my apartment, I'll just spend 10 minutes like peeing because I'll just be on my phone.
This answer right here is like the very definition of how old are you? 22. Yeah, you're definitely 22 years old. That like that's your life has basically been like college was sick, and then when I was little, I used to get really tired after gymnastics practice.
But
so,
it's my favorite thing is to just, I can't do it in my apartment now because my bathroom's too small, but like I would even do it in my college apartment. Like I would just lay on the bathroom floor. And my poor parents, their water bill was probably really high because I would leave the water on too.
You'll figure out something that you're more interested in knowing as you get older. You just don't have the life experience yet.
No, I don't.
Have you ever taken a long piss and you're like, man, like that could have been a record?
Yeah.
I feel like I'd want to know. I'd want to know like my longest piss.
Actually, I would want to know. I would want to piss the farthest. That was always fun.
See how far your longest pee was?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd probably shock you. You've probably had like a 10-foot.
That is what I want to know. My bad.
Swear to God, I've had a fart that lasted over a minute. Swear to God. I think it was over a minute because I started counting after about 10 seconds. I was sitting down on the toilet. It was after an airplane ride, and so you get like bloated, you get the gas trapped. I started farting. After 10 seconds, I was like, this is remarkable, and I feel like I'm not even close to being done. So then I started timing it with my phone. And I got up to 50 seconds on my phone before I was fully done letting the fart out. And I'm sure that there were 10 seconds leading up to it. Solid, no breaks, one clean fart.
Say it, Arian.
Big cap.
There we go.
Whatever.
Genghis Khan has crazy stats. Individual.
Yeah, he does. He does. He was an accumulator, though. Like, in the modern era, does that translate?
Dude, I think that was like 90s basketball.
Yeah, so back when was that? That was like
he averaged relation to 3% of the population in back then. Mm-hmm. Like that's when you didn't even know that many people.
How many people do you think he actually killed versus his army killed?
Actually, let's get this right because the Genghis Khan stats are crazy.
I don't know.
That'd be a fun episode too.
Yeah, I mean, he got canceled last year. I don't know if people remember that.
Oh,
bad,
why?
Bad dude.
Posthumously canceled.
Why?
I blogged it because it was so preposterous. I can't remember what it was that.
This is one of those times.
But yeah,
we can't judge historical figures by today's standards.
Bullshit.
I'm joking, man. Like Genghis
I don't need today's standard.
That's what I'm
to judge GK.
No, imagine someone being like, GK, we can't judge historical tyrants by today's standards. It just doesn't work.
Everybody was
like the hand checking error. We can apply that logic to today.
All right. We got another voicemail?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Crank that.
All right.
Hey guys, it's Mitchell here from Florida. Just wanted to ask you a quick question. I think Billy might be the most suited to answer this one. But I want to know what you guys think would win in a one-on-one battle. A Nile crocodile weighing in at 1,000 pounds, 14 feet, or a great white shark at 900 pounds, 12 feet. Let me know what you guys think. It's been a question I've never been able to answer in my life. I think you guys can provide some pretty good feedback.
I actually have a lot to say about this.
Okay, go off.
A Nile crocodile is not. There's actually examples in Australia where saltwater crocodiles, which are actually larger than Nile crocodiles, actually do come into contact with great white sharks.
Ooh.
So the thing is with this is it would probably be happening in deep water, because that would be the only place. Let's say a saltwater croc got swept out to sea, or a Nile croc. I mean, I'm going to actually have to give this to the great white shark, because even though it's smaller, because great white sharks don't have many places where you can grab on and do a death roll, which is the croc's like prime move. So like, for example, like it's a very missile-like shape of the shark.
Yeah.
So where are you going to bite the shark to do some real damage? Whereas, great white takes a huge chunk out of the crocodile, even though the scales are pretty, like durable. I think they'd be able to get a good chunk out of there. But I would think a saltwater crocodile would have a better shot. Nile crocodile definitely would not.
Okay, so I actually agree with Billy 100%, although I don't think I can explain as eloquently as you did. But, like, crocodiles, for the most part, they either suffocate or they drown their prey, right? So you can't really drown a shark. You can't, like, drag a shark into water and be like, hey, stop breathing, bitch. Because the shark's like, okay, I was born in the water, so I can do this. So I'm gonna go great white as well, for sure. Although I did go down a deep rabbit hole in Wikipedia. I suggest that you guys maybe we can do a future episode on man-eaters and some of the all-time like most deadly individual animals of all time. And one of them is Gustav, the crocodile, I think from Botswana.
Oh, Gustav.
You know Gustav? Yeah. I think Gustav killed 400 people in his life. There's some crazy animals out there with massive stats.
Oh, I'm a huge Gustav the Nile crocodile fan. I mean, not a fan of what he did, but just like a mythical, like gigantic crocodile in the middle, like just
he was real.
Like he was literally gigantic.
They
just
said,
like one of those things that you're just Googling on YouTube as a small kid and just being like, what?
They say that Gustav, there's a report that he died last year, but that's unconfirmed.
He definitely died. They tried to catch him once, several times, a super croc.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with the shark as well, unless we're dealing with the super intelligent crocodile. Because this could be a myth. I don't know enough about sharks, but don't they like go paralyzed if they like on their if they go belly up? Don't they get paralyzed for a little bit?
I think they do, yeah. Or you can you can put them in a trance-like state.
Yeah, so if we have a croc that knows his prey, like you could just do a little death roll into him being belly up, and then it's curtains.
Yeah.
But I'm still going with the shark because I don't think crocs are that smart.
But the shark would get, like a shark in shallow water would not do well, because it'd probably get sort of beached.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be able to.
You know, dolphins fuck sharks up like that, don't they?
Yeah.
They can, yeah, in a group.
Yeah.
All right, what about you, Coley?
I don't know. I think it's I don't know. I think I would have to know where the fight was happening in order to. Because I think that does play a big factor in this. I'm long on the record of saying I personally would beat any shark in a fight on land. That's just a fact.
Yeah, I agree with you, brother.
Totally.
Like they get nothing for, like, they can keep hiding in the ocean as long as they want, thinking they're big tough guys up there. They got nothing for me on the terrain.
On my home field.
Yeah, exactly. Sharks are a big time home field advantage. They're like the 2002 Sacramento Kings. Like you can't beat them there, but they're very beatable still. So yeah, I mean, I think if the croc can get the shark closer to land, then I'm going with the crocodile all day.
All right. All right, we good? Good on voicemails?
Cool. Arian, do you want to do Big T's underwear?
Oh, yeah.
Let me see the fit. I can't even, he's off camera. Let me see the fit first.
Oh, he's rocking. He's rocking a baseball bat.
I know you like to spruce it up, you know what I'm saying? And match the draws with the fit, fam.
Big T, you want to just step in front of that
that
camera
might
real quick?
mislead you today.
Oh, we're dropping hints now.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Careful of that microphone there, Big T.
My guy, we're walking around with a bat though.
Yeah. It looks like it's picture day for Little League.
Definitely not a murder. Was hand in there? Okay, cat. I think it's black today.
Nope.
No.
We got.
Avery, how did you know?
I asked him before.
Is that correct?
Is that the Tennessee
Stripe.
jump?
Yeah, they're orange.
Damn, my dog rocked the Tennessee orange today. Okay. You
All
got a little
right.
something special planned tonight?
Nah.
Anybody
Just-
seeing it?
No.
All right. Maybe no one's coming to the bathroom during one of your 3-minute sprint shits.
Not that I've heard. No.
Okay. You do need to time yourself though next time, please.
I will.
All right. That does it for this week's Macrodosing. We'll be back. We're going to get Donnie involved in the mix a little bit in the future because apparently he did really well. And Donnie's just an interesting guy and fun guy to talk to. So he'll be around. Thank you guys for listening. I love you. I love you guys very much. And make sure to check out the YouTube. Watch it on YouTube. And go to the store. Get a Macrodosing t-shirt. Billy's rocking one from right now. Arian's rocking one right now. Is that the... Yeah, those shirts are amazing. I fucking love those.
I was gonna say merch in October is gonna be big.
Yeah, sweatshirts.
We're gonna
and
have
stuff.
we're gonna have Halloween merch. We're gonna do big.
Okay.
I already got some big things in the works.
I love it. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Love you.